R2V2 is back for 2 huge days. Saturday and Sunday, October 12th and 13th at Cliff Breakers on West Riverside. Featuring retro games in a playable arcade and museum, esports tournaments, vendors with your favorite gaming merch, and so much more. Plus, your ticket gets you into the after party with live bands playing classic video game tunes. Only at the Rock River Valley Video Game Convention. So come on out, you freaking nerds. Let's make this happen. October 12th and 13th. Get tickets and more info at thegamingoutsider.com/R2V2 and thexrockford.com.
Hello there, Gaming Outsiders. This week, Zack, CB, and I are talking about special edition consoles and whether or not we take part in such extravagant purchases. In news, Sony announced such a console this week, and it has a very original PlayStation look to it. Zack and I both finally got a chance to play the Plucky Squire, and Chris Owen stops by to share his impressions of Looney Tunes' Wacky World of Sports. Also, CB lets us know what he thinks of 40K Space Marine 2 in the Warhammer series. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com or on our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/TheGoCast, and even a Discord server. If you'd like to join, you can do so at the link in the show notes. It is Tuesday, September 24th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson.
What's up, Scott? I don't know why I stumbled saying your name, but as though you were some kind of surprise.
I thought you were going to say Doc for a second. Like,
oh yeah,
Doc?
Because I watched it. Oh, like Bugs Bunny. I thought you were talking about like Marty McFly.
Oh yeah, either way works. But good to have you again, as always, Zack. Also joining us, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
Hi.
Hi. Glad you're here. I'm excited that we get to hear about Space Marine 2. I have so many questions because I know nothing about that universe.
It's for the Emperor.
Don't know what that means. Don't have a clue.
I think you can figure it out with context clues.
Do you get to like throw mittfuls of dice all at one time? Like,
no,
I hear that.
This is not that kind of game.
I hear that's what you get to do in Warhammer tabletop games.
That's not what we do here.
Does anybody go, shit, yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Is there an active reload?
No.
We'll get there.
Only.
We'll get there. I just got back from Nashville. I got to go see the Packers play the Titans down there. That was a good time. Spent the last 4 days. It's been a good time. But the real big news, not news, we're 17 days away from R2V2. I am literally dreaming about R2V2. That's how stressed I am about this event. It's kind of crazy.
It's going to happen, man. Stop stressing.
How is the video game museum coming together, CB?
I spent this afternoon cleaning and testing.
Cleaning and testing.
There we go.
What are some rare consoles that people will be able to play with their admission to R2V2?
Ooh, you can play Jack Brothers on Virtual Boy.
I don't even know what that game is.
It's made by Atlas.
I know that.
Right, it's a platformer for the Atlas mascots, right?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Some. There's a couple of the Atlas mascots. So,
yeah.
But yeah, there's that. I'll have my Neo Geo CD there. I'll be bringing my Pioneer Laser Active, which is very stupidly hard to come by.
Okay. What a Vectrex.
Oh yeah, the Vectrex will be there. I mean, every of the other like good consoles, the ever classic Sega Genesis Tower of Power.
Nice.
But then I've got a few other weird
advertise.
ones.
That's something that we didn't advertise at past R2V2s, but your video game museum is not only a place to come check out rare and exotic games and consoles, but it's also a great place to come test out those games that you purchase from our vendors.
Yes.
Before you make a purchase, come over to the museum and pop it in a console and make sure it works before you buy it. So
yeah, I mean, I will have those services available, and I will also have tools to open up and verify carts.
Very cool. That's a awesome selling point. Looking forward to it. We are finalizing the floor plans. There are vendors that are still seeking vendor space. We are almost out of vendor space. So if you guys know anybody looking, please hit us up. And as always, check out details for the convention at thegamingoutsider.com/R2V2. Zach, did you finish Astrobot?
I did. Sorry to say,
You did?
Scott. Yeah.
Like platinum or just finish the game?
I got a few straggler trophies left. I just beat it last night.
Yeah?
But yeah, I mean, the game's incredible. You know, I don't know what else is left to say.
Yeah.
There was one of the challenge levels for the cross button.
Uh-huh.
That really did trip me up for a while. But the other ones were pretty simple. But yeah, no, I mean, it's great. The final boss is a lot of fun. The way they celebrate PlayStation is great. The credits are very cool.
Oh, cool. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. So I don't want to give it. They do the classic 3D platformer thing of like one last challenge at the end. I don't feel like that's a spoiler. I feel like that's a staple of the genre. But I was a little disappointed because I beat it on my second try. So I didn't really feel like it was that. I feel like it could have been a little more challenging.
Well, could you just suck a little bit more, Zach? That would, maybe you'd enjoy the game better.
Well, I don't know how I can enjoy the game more. It's incredible.
I know, right?
There's nothing really to complain about.
I am stuck on one of the square bonus stages. It's one where you, like the ground is lava, and the only way to be able to walk on it is with a rubber ducky that squirts water. Splashing
sprint, man. That is the talk of the Astrobot communities on the internet. Everyone says that level is the hardest.
Oh, it's tough. Because like you get that first section is difficult. It's like really difficult. And if you get past it, then you have to figure out what to do for the rest of the stage and then go through and do that whole thing over again. But I'm looking forward to finishing that one. I did finish the, let's see, was it third or fourth Galaxy? We talked about it off air, Zach, and I don't want to give away what it is, but the extra level after you fight the boss didn't do a whole lot for me. I thought it was kind of clever just how it worked, but it didn't do any nostalgia for me because it was a deeper cut than the other ones to me.
Yeah, well, similarly, the fifth one, which I assume by process of elimination, you can already assume what it is, did nothing for me.
Well,
because it was a property that I don't care about.
Yeah, I think I know what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't take away from how fun the game itself is.
It's just so good. CB, have you played that one yet?
Not yet.
Do any Astrobot? Dude, you have to play it. It will make you grin from ear to ear. It is so much fun.
It's definitely on my list. I
think I'm going. You go.
I just haven't had a chance because between Star Wars Outlaws and now Space Marine. Yeah.
You're busy murdering things. You don't have time for joy. I understand.
Yes. my games don't involve smiles.
Mine generally don't, but Astrobot. Something else.
I'm looking forward to being it now that I'm back home and the deck is almost done. There's just some railings done on the steps, and I put that behind me finally. What about Wild Bastards?
Yeah, still chugging along on Wild Bastards, still having an absolute blast. I still don't have all of the Outlaws, which is crazy. There's so many
like
of them.
13 of them or 17 of them?
I think it's 13 of them, yeah.
That's kind of crazy for as many hours as you put into that.
Right. And yeah, but it's super fun. I can't wait to finish this run and then see what its challenges are in that main menu. I don't know what's going on there. I'm very excited. But yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I'll get a new outlaw, right, and then I'll be like, I don't know about this guy. And then like I find a situation where I should use him, a few maps later. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really fun feeling to have. Or like, oh man, I didn't even think about using the dynamite guy like this. Oh man, this really opens things up. It's a lot of fun.
I know you sold Mike Card on that game hardcore. He has been texting us saying how much fun he's having, and that is definitely in his wheelhouse.
I mean, it's just such a unique game. I told you last week or whatever. Rare is a game that engages both your brain and your Twitch response, like your reflexes.
Yeah.
In such equal measure and so constantly. You always need to keep flip-flopping between both. It's really awesome. Incredible.
Very cool. Anything else you've been catching up on?
Yeah, for the spooky season, the past few weeks, I've been kind of picking away at Dark Pictures, The Devil in Me. Is this the
latest one?
This is the latest one, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it came out 2022. I picked this one. I wanted to pick one of them because for the season, and they're all so cheap now. You know,
Mhm.
you can get like a new disc for like $10.
Oh, nice.
So I picked this one because it had somewhat of a Saw vibe in the trailer,
Oh,
and
does that deliver?
And I love Saw. It does not deliver the Saw
Oh.
vibes. There are some traps, but I guess I neglected to consider how much of the fun of Saw is the moral speech at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or the kind of like heavy metal editing they do. But the traps that were here were fun. I just kind of wish that there was like a little bit of context for him. But the bad guy doesn't talk at all. He's kind of like he's kind of like a slasher villain that uses traps. But the end result is I really had a good time. It was some bloody fluff that I needed for the spooky season. You know, nothing that's gonna rock your world. Just something to make you feel good. Watching people get killed. I did.
Okay.
I did keep everybody alive, which was surprising.
That's hard to do.
I know that's not a guarantee, right? In these
Right.
games,
Yeah.
so that it was weird because, like, you know, I keep everybody alive. You know, I get a nice trophy for it or whatever. I was like, that's kind of disappointing. I kind of wanted somebody to die, which is not perhaps the sanest thought process. But
No, not at all.
But you know, you kind of want to see some blood in these sort of things. It does. It did kind of remind me. I really do like these kinds of games, though.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of choose your own adventure, you know, interactive movie kind of games.
Right.
Because I definitely played like every Telltale thing that was coming out back in the day, and so I got to catch up on some Dark Pictures. I've only played this and Man of Medan, which I played in co-op, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, one person would have hallucinations and the other wouldn't, or whatever. It was kind of cool. But
Speaking of, is this the Halloween season that we're gonna finally play Dead Space 3 together?
sure. Well, actually, I mean, we have more of an opportunity than ever, right?
Yeah, our schedules line up, and
Yeah.
you know, after R2V2 will be done,
Right.
you know, we'll have some time. So
Yeah, you know, I think you might be right. Might be able to make a weekly Dead Space thing happen.
should do. Speaking of weekly things, I did not get to play any Baldur's Gate this weekend because I was in the Tennessee.
How mad did you make
looking
Kevin?
forward to. What's that?
How mad did you make Kevin?
Well, it was 2 weeks in a row, so he's not too happy with me. But hopefully, you know, he still produces the show. Hopefully, you guys are still hearing this. I haven't made him too angry, but we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. All right, some new trailers to mention. First off, Splinter Cell Death Watch. It's a show coming to Netflix in 2024. Freedom Wars Remastered, coming to PS5, PS4, Switch, PC in January of 2025. Wild Keepers Rising, coming on PC in the near future. And Pinball M, Camp Bloodbrook. Of course, I had to put that in there. October 24th. In other news, PlayStation is celebrating its 30th year in style. Nintendo is finally suing Palworld developer Pocket Pair. Concord, y'all remember that story from a couple weeks ago, allegedly cost $400 million. And also today, literally mere hours ago, was Sony's State of Play for the month of September. CB, what story would you like to talk about?
Oh, man. Well, not to kick a dead horse, but poor Concord.
Yeah, get a dog pile on this bad boy.
Yeah, I did, but I don't know if I told you, Zach, but I got my physical copy.
Oh yeah, well you sent me a picture. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember if I sent you the picture. So yeah, I got my physical copy.
Are you gonna try to flip it on eBay for $1,500 that no one's paying?
No,
Yeah.
It's already been filed in the "this is a dead game" section of my collection.
I was this close to getting one. It was on Walmart right after they made the announcement, and I hesitated, and I'm like, that's kind of a stupid thing to buy. I really wish I would.
Yeah, I'm seeing them
it's-
pop up for stupid prices now.
It'll be worthless in a few months.
I know, but
This one has a unique story, but most Dead Live Service games, you know, their discs after they shut down spike up because it's limited, and then they go for $5 a year later.
the difference here is I think there weren't as many discs printed for that game as it was kind
Right. Well,
No,
except
pushed
for
as-
every store that was told to destroy them, where I'm sure the employee just took sleeves and sleeves home.
right.
You know.
Well, so I know the Walmart near my house, they only got 10 copies.
That's crazy.
Well, that you know of, like Zack.
No,
is saying.
like their inventory, because I have a friend that works there. They literally only got 10 copies.
Interesting. And I'm not worried about I don't want to flip it or anything. I just think it's just a cool piece of video game history that is going to be. Hey, remember that game Concord that cost $400 million? And
well, it's interesting because it either will or won't be, right? If it comes back as some kind of free to play thing, then all of a sudden that disc is such a less interesting story.
right.
Yeah. But if it doesn't come back, then yeah, that's a pretty cool piece of memorabilia to have.
But I have a feeling if it does come back, those discs aren't going to work.
No, I'm with you. It would.
They'll
gonna require a
recode
new
them
disc.
for something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, or do you think maybe they'll get always, you can see they have a physical copy here. Here's $5 of currency for the game.
Yeah, it'll be something
Or
like that.
Here, have a suit for this guy you can't remember the name of.
Yeah. But I mean,
So CB, why'd you want to talk about this? What I mean,
I'm astonished by these numbers, and I had a conversation with somebody else about incredibly long game cycles, and but this game cost $400 million to make, 8 years of production. Roughly 200 million of it was before Sony got involved, and then Sony dumped another 200 million into this.
for what marketing? For
to finish it. Because there was so much outsourcing, guys. I don't know if you've seen the credit.
I've been following a little bit of it.
The credits are 1 hour and 12 minutes.
what?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how much labor went into this game.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
But
But
that
you
makes
put
you
that
wonder,
on your resume?
You
know
know,
what
I
I
was
mean?
part of this failed game. But
I wouldn't if I was the art team. I know that.
Wow.
what bothers me about it is when you sit here and look at this, it's just this I guarantee you this is going to be a Jason Schreier book at some point in time. Because again, like you said, so much of it was outsourced. I wanted I'm just astonished because where did the money go? Because I've watched gameplay of this and I'm like, it doesn't look that impressive. $200 million, even if it was all outsourced, I'm like, where did the money go? I'm still wondering if this game wasn't something else, and then
Like
they
a
blew
laundering
through
scheme?
100. Well, no, they blew through $150 million making something else, and then they're like, this game sucks. Scrapped everything, spent $50 million, made Concord.
I mean, that's a reach, but I guess I can't.
No,
put
it doesn't. It's not a reach because it's as bad as it looks.
I think part of what explains the $400 million is the alleged toxic positivity surrounding the game, where if staff at I can't remember if it's a Firewalk. I can't remember the
Something like
developer's
that.
name anymore.
Fire something.
That's how important. That's what impact they've made on the industry. They if you were concerned about an aspect, they would reassign you, or they would encourage you to stay silent. And that we needed everybody to believe in this project, which is not a good way to make a video game.
So what
No.
you're telling me is I should have applied for this company, said that they called me a bad name, give me the $100,000 to make me shut up and go away.
I don't know if they were paying people off, but they
had to.
The insanity of allegedly, according to the reporting, that this was internally thought of as the future of PlayStation, and that this had the potential of Star Wars for spin-offs and marketing and merchandising.
I mean, when I saw that first trailer, before I realized what kind of game it was, I was like, okay, I'm listening.
Really?
No.
It was.
All
No,
right, dude. I was
absolutely
30
not.
seconds into that ad, and I wanted to blow my brains out. and then when they said hero shooter on top of it, I was like, great, there's nothing for me going on here.
I was. They had my attention.
All
I'm not
right.
saying I was sold. I'm saying they had my attention.
But did they have your "this is the future of PlayStation" attention?
Well, I didn't know enough at that point. It was. It looked like Guardians of the Galaxy, a new set of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm
Right.
like,
Okay, when
You know.
Look
When
the
I look-
dollar store brand.
Yeah.
when I look at a game like Ghost of Tsushima or something like that, I'm like, that's the future.
mm-hmm.
At no point in time ever, did I the fact that like even Zach's like, hey, maybe you should try Concord. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about the game. Looked it up. And I was like, nope. Never mind.
I genuinely, when we had that text conversation, because I was in on that, I knew that Zach was joking. Like there's no way he actually thought CB was going to like that game. I was waiting for that response from you, and it was 45 seconds later. Like, nope,
but
not doing it.
It's pretty good.
When
I wish I had played it personally.
But like again, like the future of PlayStation. Like when I think of something that like a bold statement like that, I'm thinking that's something everybody can get in on. Like Astrobot. There's the future of PlayStation.
Well, unfortunately, that's probably not going to sell enough to be the future of PlayStation. I mean,
it's sold more than Concord.
Well, sure.
So clearly, it's got more of a future than Concord.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's just it's upsetting that you think of how out of touch these executives are. Right? They're like, this is going to be the next Star Wars, and everybody saw that first trailer and was like, well, this is dead on arrival.
Like
so everybody but you knew somehow. That's crazy.
But yes, like it's like, how can you make a statement like that, especially like the future of PlayStation, knowing what has come before you,
right?
And being like,
well, we know they wanted that live service money, right? We still got a few more of these to get through. Actually,
you're not going to get that live service money selling a live service game for $50.
Yeah. What was the budget
40,
on?
But yeah,
Grand Theft Auto like 4 and 5.
I don't know.
Because when it initially launched, I'm sure like it was in this range.
Maybe, yeah.
I would find that very easy to believe, if not more.
God, like,
that seems like a lot for 2013 personally, but maybe.
I'll have to get up.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'll have to do some research because like a $400 million slam dunk into the toilet, that hurts.
Toxically positive atmosphere, though, is just like words I never thought I would have seen.
You be happy about this and you love it.
Right, we will hear no complaints about these character designs. Not in this room.
I said code.
So terrible.
Zach, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm going to jump straight into good news with PlayStation State of Play.
All right. I will admit I did not watch this yet, so you're going to have to inform me.
I assume CB is the same as he was helping his neighbor.
Yeah, it's been a busy day, man.
Well, they showed us some.
This literally was like an hour and a half ago.
I know,
right?
It's supposed to.
Coming in hot. We could have waited until next week.
Then it's old news.
Oh boy. They started off the show with Astrobot DLC coming this fall.
Hallelujah.
Right, yeah. While we're all still kind of in the middle of Astrobot. Great news.
10 extra bots.
Some challenge levels. Yeah, all for free, of course, which is very un-PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. Yeah, of course, that's exciting. Stellar Blade was in the trailer.
Did they say when?
Just said fall.
Fall. Okay.
We had a VR game, The Midnight Walk, but who cares about that? Hell Is Us is this Souls-like action game that, I don't know, it looked like Death Stranding art direction. It was kind of weird.
Oh.
You should check it out. I guess since you haven't seen any of this stuff, I'll just tell you the exciting things. How about that?
That's fine.
For me, anyway. I thought Power was funny in light of the lawsuit that's happening, but I assume there had to be some kind of contractual obligation, right?
It makes you wonder if the timing of the suit was intentional to do this right before the State of Play.
That's a fascinating conspiracy. I mean, but it's available for PlayStation right now if you want to play it before Pocket Pairs gets sued into oblivion.
So they could get even more money lost.
Yeah.
Nintendo's just going, or the Pokemon company's just going, all right, do it, guys. It's coming right back our way.
We dare you. Lunar Remastered Collection. This is Lunar 1 and 2. Is it PS1 games, right?
PS1
JRPGs.
And, Silver Star.
Yeah, and those are. I know that they had remakes on PSP, but this is making them available in a modern context. That's great news.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one right there.
Right, those are like somewhat hard to find, so that's great news. I know TMNT Shredder's Revenge is getting more DLC. I figured you guys would care about that.
I played through that game like 2 or 3 times and haven't looked back.
I feel like 2 or 3 times is a lot of time to play through a game.
Well, that game is like 2 hours long.
No.
I mean,
I love the fact you like 2 or 3 times. like 2 or 3 times a lot of times to play through a game. Meanwhile, Sands of Time exists.
Of course, yeah. I was younger then, CB. I had all the time in the world. Keanu Reeves is coming to Sonic Cross Shadow Generations.
Oh, like in the game, or
yeah? So they're doing a movie DLC pack that's coming out in December around the movie's release, and Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow for the game for that.
Oh, that's rad! Actually,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm way into that, man.
Yeah,
couldn't believe I heard Keanu Reeves' voice coming out of him for the game.
Fantasian Hedgehog.
Dude, I mean, he's got a gat, no doubt. Shadow's driving motorcycles, shooting people. It's awesome. He knows what's up. Fantasia Neo Dimension. This is a Apple Arcade game, but it's coming to consoles.
The dioramas, right?
Right. It has the dioramas. It's from the creator of Final Fantasy as well as the composer of Final Fantasy, so people should pay attention. But it got dated. It's coming this December, so that's very, very exciting because this game. I played the first half of it because it was released 2 parts on Apple Arcade, and I played the first half, loved it, so now I can finally finish it.
And that's like, if it's on Apple Arcade, you can't like just go buy the game. You actually have to subscribe to Apple Arcade to play it, right?
Yep, that's right.
I don't like that.
Which I just couldn't. I couldn't re-up just for, I don't know. It felt weird.
Yeah.
They showed off some more Dragon Age, and I can confidently say I have no interest in that game now, for sure.
Wow.
Alan Wake 2 DLC. The Lake House got a trailer. Pretty exciting. Coming October. There's some time for Halloween. Pretty cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't play the last one.
I'm sorry to hear that. It was great.
Yeah,
but this is supposed to be more standard Alan Wake 2 fare.
Oh.
Because that Night Springs DLC was a, anthology of kind of different gameplay. Very exciting. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. Finally showed off, even though we've known about it for months. Very cool. Coming in December for $30, 2 games. A bunch of new features like camera control. Pretty crazy.
Imagine that.
Right.
Control the camera in a video.
Well, if I remember from my brief time with Soul Reaver on Vita, was that it did not have camera control, but it was still a very vertical game, so it was actually pretty frustrating, especially with a modern mindset.
Right.
So I think that's great. Yeah, I can't wait. A new map. I remember the map being pretty bad. I'm just very excited that I can finally play these games. I want to play these games for many, 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 many years. So it's great news. I thought this game, Towers of Agazaba, does not look that interesting to me. It just looks like a typical kind of survival game. But what is interesting to me is that's coming in early access for PS5, and we do not get a lot of those.
No, don't get a lot of early access for consoles at all.
They have a decent amount on Xbox. The game preview program, like Power World, was in the preview. But PS5, it's pretty rare. So I hope this is them kind of opening up their minds to that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Bring it.
Yes. So the Monster Hunter Wilds got shown off again. It's risking overexposing itself. We saw some Lego Horizon Zero Dawn, and we saw some. I legitimately laughed when I saw this, but Horizon Zero Dawn's getting a remaster.
God. Stop.
Dude, I mean, it's a parody at this point, right? With PlayStation?
Like, it's got to be I'm sorry, that's got to be a joke.
That's what I'm saying. I was laughing. Now, the only interesting part of the trailer was that they've recaptured all of the motion capture for conversations.
Why?
Wait, so it's not like the static faces anymore?
Remember how stilted and weird everybody was during conversations? And Horizon was a big turnoff for me, actually. It was very jarring. But yeah, I guess they redid all of that.
That's interesting.
Let's spend billions of dollars just to get the faces a little better.
Well, hopefully it means they're like moving around and not just standing at like awkward mannequins, just blankly staring at each other while they're talking. That'd be nice. Like
Fallout style?
Yeah, only the camera's like pulled back more so you can see that they're also just standing still. It was very...
Yeah.
I don't know. It really stood out to me when I played Zero Dawn.
But here's the problem. Like, instead of doing that, like, how about you just work on the next game?
Yeah, I do not understand the strategy of the PS5 is going to be a console of non-PS5 games. It's a very, especially like they showed the PS5 Pro off shortly after this, and it's just like a highlight reel of a bunch of PS4 games, and it's just so bizarre.
So now, Last of Us 1 and 2 are just going to get another remake for the PS5 Pro.
Well, they have PS5 Pro modes coming. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they're just gonna get full on remakes.
I'm halfway surprised we didn't see The Last of Us Part 1 remastered. Wouldn't surprise me at this point.
No, we did.
No,
We
we got
already-
the remake.
But the
I'm saying
remake of the
I'm surprised-
remake.
Yeah, I'm surprised
The
we didn't get the remaster of the remake. That's what
Remaster of the remake? Okay.
it's a $10 upgrade for any existing owners of Horizon.
That's not terrible. That's pretty good.
I mean,
actually.
Usually their upgrades are definitely not worth it. But if they're redoing a bunch of motion capture and stuff, at least I guess they put some money into it.
Yeah.
But it still just stands out when everybody else gives you a free one.
I think the last remaster that I was really excited about, but then immediately turned off, was the Assassin's Creed one, where they made the faces look worse.
Yeah, that happens a lot with remasters, actually.
Yeah.
But after that, Stellar Blade is getting Nier Automata crossover DLC, which is really funny if you played Stellar Blade, because it was already the Walmart brand of Nier Automata.
So they're just bringing in the brand name.
I mean,
to,
even the trailer was really funny because it was the Stellar Blade lady that I can't remember the name of, walking down like a post-apocalyptic hallway with her little drone that she walks around with, and then like just like some digital mosaic happens on the screen. All of a sudden it's 2B in her pod, and I was like, oh, so you're just acknowledging that you did copy that game, I guess. It's
right.
I mean, it was never subtle, but it's a funny crossover just because of how much it was like how much Stellar Blade had we have Nier Automata at home energy.
You can't beat them, join them,
dude. I mean, and Square Enix is not afraid to whore out 2B to anybody that wants her.
Yeah,
any game that wants 2B can have her.
The sheer number of tweets from Wario64 that are Nier related,
yeah,
like with action figures and statues and this and that. Clearly, Wario64, whoever he is, loves Nier and he loves Sonic, because anytime there's anything.
Oh yeah.
So what
those
you're
related,
telling me is Wario 64 is actually Zack
or Kevin. Oh no, I guess yeah.
It's a joint account. We can't run it both, 24/7. We trade off 12-hour shifts.
I literally shared with another group that CB is in. CB and Zack and Kevin are both in. There is a Sonic the Hedgehog dog costume that is like
Onyx gonna go fast.
We shared it, and we're all like, we just kind of assume that Kevin's gonna pick this up because he loves his dogs. If only they had a second one that was also Tails, that would be perfect. Because
after the movie comes out, there'll be one for Sonic and one for Shadow.
One for Shadow. Good. Anyway.
So that's exciting. I'll definitely be playing that, no doubt about it. Then they announced that Dino Crisis and Blood Omen are coming to PS5, and with the classics catalog thing they do. What is nice is that they honor your PS3 purchases with that stuff. So actually, I'll have both of these already. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
In a very non-Sony move. It's really cool because now if you do want to play Soul Reaver Remastered, you can actually start where the story starts with Blood Omen. Because that was actually the first game. So that's pretty cool. You get your setup.
Oh.
And then they ended the show with the biggest news. The Ghost of Tsushima sequel, Ghost of Yotai. Or Yote. I don't know how to...
All I saw was the title card. Did they show any gameplay? Did they show any idea of what the story is? Or is it the same type of game?
Well, it's funny. First, the trailer opens with just a black and white image of some grass. And it's like, oh, hey, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But they did like a misdirect in the trailer where they make you think it's Jin Sakai, but it's some new woman, and it's 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
So it is not Jin Sakai again, which is a little sad to me because I love Jin. He was great.
He was awesome.
I thought he was an incredible
great granddaughter.
That's very great. But yeah, and she's got dual katanas. Looks like she's got a rifle in the trailer, like a musket kind of thing, which would make sense for 1600, which is when it takes some breaks around. And she got a little wolf companion, and that's what we saw. And it's coming 2025. I don't know, man.
You could have just put a title card, and I would have been sold. So, but I'm glad to hear.
Right. No, they couldn't just do the title card because then you would think it was Jin coming back, and then you'd be
Yeah, it's true.
Then you would have months of excitement over Jin Sakai's return, and then he wouldn't, and then everybody would be mad.
I just really hope that they do what they did with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm not even talking about gameplay, but that they kept that world manageable. Remember how like it just didn't feel overwhelming when you were trying to clear that map?
Yeah, I agree with that. I got the platinum in Tsushima.
Mm-hmm. It was just, I mean, it was a lot of work. There was some busy stuff to do, but it never felt like Assassin's Creed Unity.
Well,
But that's because you specifically have to do everything. You don't have
not
to.
as much anymore, but I like it when a game compels me to do so.
Well, Tsushima did just because its open world was so incredible.
Right. It was just so much fun to be in.
Right.
And it never felt overwhelming because even the stuff that normally feels like menial tasks in other open world games felt fun and exciting and rewarding when you did them in Ghost of Tsushima. So I hope that they learn from that and don't try to make this massive Witcher 3 style or sized world, because I'm just going to peace out pretty quick if they do.
I feel confident that they will indeed overscope it.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I mean, I hope I am wrong, but I thought Tsushima was a nice size in that it still felt like a very big game and a very long one, but it managed to stay compelling throughout, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, of everything on that list, that's the only thing I'm like really looking forward to.
I'm excited by to play Dino Crisis again, but I feel like I'm going to be disappointed when I remember how that game actually plays.
No, no way. Dino Crisis is a banger.
I loved it as a kid, but I would rather have a remake.
If you had to pick,
Resident Evil.
If you had to pick 3 things off this list, what would they be?
3 things off this list?
Off of this list, like you get 3 things, and then everything else is gone.
Well, the Astrobot DLC, for sure. Fantasia Neo Dimension, because I have not played it, and I just think that sounds really fantastic, and especially if it's got the composer from Final Fantasy. And if I had to pick a third one, boy, probably, like old games, like the old ones.
You would let Ghost of Yotai die?
Oh no, I forgot about that one. You didn't put it on the format, so I wasn't thinking about it. But yeah, that would be definitely the number one.
It's absolutely on the format. But I understand, as a teacher, you have difficulty reading. We can both see it, Scott. You can make faces all you want.
It's right there.
I'm telling you.
I'm pointing at it.
It goes from
right
Dino
there.
Crisis and Blood Omen to PS5 PR, and that is it.
Oh, well, it is not. Well, this speaks to your internet yet again, my friend. But but for me, CB, if I had to pick 3, it's Fantasia, Neo Dimension, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and Ghost of Yotai.
Yeah,
and you, CB?
Ghost of Yotai, Legacy of Kain, and Alan Wake 2 Lake House.
Yeah, it's sad for me to have to sacrifice these Lake House DLC in this hypothetical, but I need to finish Fantasian. It had such Final Fantasy IX energy to it.
It actually hurts me because I know you and I both like Dragon Age, and the more that the longer it's been, I'm just like, I feel like that's just a dead franchise now.
Well, following up a cliffhanger 10 years later is hard to have momentum for me personally. It's like I've let go of that concern for that cliffhanger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then just the more I see of this game, it becomes clearer that this is not the game for me.
Because was the Veilguard the same one that was like originally like the wolf?
Yeah, this is Dragon Age Dreadwolf renamed. Yeah. Which is that's way better name, by the way.
Yeah.
And here I am over here never playing a Dragon Age game, but I digress.
That's why I said me and Zack, because I was like, yeah, it's not a Scott thing.
They need to do like a Legendary Edition, collection for Dragon Age.
How about we get a Dragon Age Origins remaster instead of instead of remastering Horizon Zero Dawn?
That would be nice. EA, if Mass Effect Legendary Edition sold well, I could promise Dragon Age will probably sell pretty well too.
Yeah, probably. All right, my story. I'm going to talk about the PlayStation's 30th anniversary console. because it angers me a little bit. Number one, I have no interest. Okay, let me give you the details.
Can I ask you something first, Scott?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Are you gonna buy one and then sell it for face value?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Man, I forgot all about that.
I'm still angry about that.
Me too.
For those that don't know what CB is talking about, back when, what was it, the PlayStation
4.
It was, but
Right.
what was the special edition one?
The
500
the 500 million or something.
Yeah, 500 million edition. I happened to be online when that thing went on sale, and I got one. But it was one that came with like the gold headphones or something. I can't remember, and it had like a year of whatever. It cost me $900. And when my wife found out, she's like, "You were absolutely not keeping that. You need to." So I was like, "All right, well, I gotta find."
It's
someone.
a real shame when you spend your own money like that. Anyway, continue.
To be fair, I would have bought it from him, but at the time I did not have money.
Yeah. So I wound up selling it to
Another person.
guy that,
We'll just say another person.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who, but he haggled me for the price. He didn't want, because he didn't want the headphones that came with it. I'm like, dude, this thing is gonna like double, triple in value in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And was like even haggled off the tax.
Yeah. So I actually lost money on that because I just needed to unload it. And
But you only have yourself to blame.
yeah.
I don't know who you sold it to, but he sounds like a dick.
Oh no, he.
I'm not gonna say yes or no.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyway,
just haggling that at all takes some real nerve.
yes. So anyway, this new one for celebrating the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation. It's going back to the PS1 gray with the colored buttons. The PS5 Pro bundle comes with the PS5 Pro, DualSense Edge, controller charging stand, vertical stand, disc drive console cover, PS1 controller cord, 4 PS cable ties, PlayStation stickers, PlayStation poster, PlayStation paperclip. The Pro is not sold alone. You can only get it with all this stuff. Right?
Dumb.
Yep. Which, so it's they still haven't announced the price as of this
$2,000.
recording.
It's going to be $2,000.
Everything added up on its own would be around 1,000. So my guess is like 1,200.
$2,000.
Well, it's funny you say that because the Pro bundle is limited to 12,300 units. So $1,230 seems like.
Oh my God, you're so right. Well, to honor the release date, of course, right? That's why they would do it.
Anyway, here's the thing. I want the freaking controller.
Yep, that's all I want.
I don't want the console. I just want that PlayStation controller. It looks sick.
It especially looks, because I have the PS4 anniversary controller with the gray and the buttons and everything. But the PS5 one, beautiful with the gray touchpad, because the PS4 one has a black touchpad. And that gray, it takes it to the next level, man. I absolutely I need this controller.
I like how every generation they've done this, though.
Yeah, and I am a sucker for it every time. Every time, CB.
But here's the thing.
Such nostalgia for
I'm weak.
People go nuts for the classic look, and like every time they're like, no, we're going to make the giant thing with the white popped collars.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, you could literally make every single PlayStation a gray box with a big circular top, and people would be like, I want it.
And it flips open, and you got to actually press your disc into it instead of it being fed in. And I would, one.
Well, sure, but we would. I don't know if Jim after his shift at the office is going to buy that. But what's really nice about the PS5 Pro and the regular PS5 is that the console still looks hideous, even with the PlayStation Color. So that's nice, because there is no saving that console design.
I have yet to buy a second PlayStation 5 controller. I feel like the battery lasts pretty well on it, unless you're playing Astrobot.
Well, they use every inch of the haptics.
Oh my goodness, that thing is constantly yelling at me or vibrating in my hands. And I'm not complaining. That's awesome. But if they sold this thing separately and it wasn't such a limited supply, I would definitely be buying this. And I feel like I feel like I'm not alone.
Well, you can
Not
get
just-
you can get the controller on its own.
You can.
Yeah.
I thought you said you couldn't.
No, you
No,
can't
you
get you
can.
can't get the consoles on their own. You have to buy the consoles through a bundle. But the PlayStation Portal and the DualSense and the DualSense Edge are all sold as standalone. It's also on the format, but again, I know you're having difficulty reading today.
If I don't write it, man, it doesn't stick in my brain
All
very
right,
well.
so
Apparently.
I excuse me for trying to help you. And rounding up
Well,
the
Scott, when
news.
it does come around, if you happen to get 2 of the controllers, let me know.
It's same to you. If you happen to get 2 of the controllers, let me know because I don't want to keep this one in the box. I want to actually play with this controller.
Hey,
Oh,
as
my-
the PlayStation guy, can you guys maybe keep me in mind if you happen to get an extra one?
Sure.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I got an
Just
alarm.
I just didn't know if Japan would interfere with controller purchases.
I got an alarm set for. Yes. Yeah. No, I've gotten financial assistance for this controller actually. So
Like you took out a loan?
my fiance is offering to help buy because she knows how excited I was when the announcement happened. That's all.
She's secretly been
Gotcha,
taking
gotcha.
pictures of Zack's feet and posting them online at the night.
No, well, she was trying to figure out how to buy it on her own, and and she couldn't figure out like all the PlayStation Direct and everything. I was like,
Mhm.
it's very sweet, but yeah, it is needlessly complicated if you're not in the ecosystem already. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that exists so that scalpers can't
yeah,
go by
no,
like,
definitely, yeah. I'm saying she's cool enough to try to help me get the controller. That's all.
That is awesome. Well, that's the news. Moving on, I want to remind everybody, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. We do appreciate the support, and we will return your kindness with some bonus content at $3 and $5 tiers. And at the $1 tier, you can get the episode, the regular episode, a day earlier than everybody else. Not a week earlier than everybody else, like my typo said this last week when I posted about it. Kevin called me out on that. But yeah, for sure. Also, we've got some things cooking. Zach and I are working on an episode for the month of September. And CB, hopefully you can help us out with another one. We got to get another episode released before the end of the month. Things are getting very busy, though. So let's go ahead now and jump into the new games that we've been playing.
All right, boys. Apparently
So
you've been-
close. Let me just jump in with the new releases as we do every week. I know
Oh.
you've been gone a while. What's going on with everybody in the format today? What's happening?
Well, no. I'm just excited to hear about this game with paper.
Okay. Well, right at the top, Reinatus. New Japanese action game coming to PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC September 27th. EA Sports Football Club 25 comes to all consoles and PC September 27th. Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. I guess, is there Looney Tune demands out there still, guys?
Yeah, it's still there.
You'll hear about that shortly, actually.
All right. That's coming to all consoles and PC September 27th. Throne in Liberty MMO coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC October 1st. Master Detective Archives Raincode Plus comes to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles October 1st. That was formerly a Switch exclusive anime investigation game. Mech Warrior 5 Clans is the sequel to Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. That's a true thing. The sequel has the same number. That's coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC October 3rd. Kill Knight Twin Stick Action Shooter coming to all consoles and PC October 3rd. And then Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream is about the 13,000th Sword Art Online game, and that's going to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch, as well as PC on October 3rd.
I wish I understood the love for that franchise. I tried watching that show.
I loved the show. Well, the first
Really?
season.
I did not.
I did enjoy the first season, but it immediately went downhill.
Yeah, after the first season, it was.
Yeah.
I've tried playing a Sword Art game. They are overly complex.
They did seem that way, and I know like part of it is like a dating sim, but part of the core of the show was the main romance. So it just seemed immediately always seemed weird that you could go off script like that, because like it's a foundational aspect of the narrative.
Yes.
So it's very strange to mess with that. But anyway, CB, from this list, what is tripping your trigger?
Not a single thing.
Wow, can't even lie to me.
Kill Knight.
Oh,
There you
dude,
go.
yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Now, Scott, I know you're excited about Kill Knight, right?
That actually is my pick, is Kill Knight.
Yeah.
I talked about this trailer when it announced a few weeks ago, and I think it looks fast, frenetic, fun with gore and my kind of game. I'm excited for Kill Knight.
Absolutely agree. Kill Knight for sure.
It's got that Hades energy with a little bit more
Blood.
visceral look to it.
Yeah, a lot of blood. I like the energy it's got in the trailer.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of got a real FU vibe or something going
Yeah.
on. I do think Master Detective Archives looks interesting, or at least the fact that you have a succubus as your companion looks interesting. I'd like to know maybe if that goes anywhere. You know what I mean? But also, I'm sure there's just some detective work to be done as well. But yes, CB. Now, what were you saying?
Okay. So both of you seem to be playing a game called The Plucky Squire, which I've heard many people talking about. I've watched the trailer. There's some paper. There's some hands. Please tell me the hands are actually in the game.
No dice on the hands.
Darn it. I'm out. I don't want to
Sorry
know.
to say.
No, so it gives me a very Paper Mario vibe.
Oh, it's not turn-based. There's
But
no
I'm-
turn-based.
I said
anything in
vibe.
this.
Vibe.
No, I know. I'm just...
Not gameplay.
Now, I will say they don't play with papercraft in quite the same way. They really
Yeah.
do. It's just kind of storybook energy.
Okay.
Mhm.
And in terms of gameplay, I guess it'd be closer to Zelda, right, Scott?
Yes, like, is it mean to say, like, baby's first Zelda?
Well, I thought that was Skyward Sword, but
Yeah.
but this is this is even simpler than that. Yeah, no doubt.
Very, very simple. And boy, we'll get to that. I want to talk about the positives first. I didn't play through the entire thing like you did, but I got to like chapter 4 in like an hour.
Yeah, that
So-
sounds right. Well, it's really like chapters 6 and 7 are like the long ones.
Mhm.
And then 9's somewhat lengthy, but really like I would say the bulk of the game is chapters 6 and 7.
Interesting. So what's interesting about this, or what drew me to this game, is the thing that I actually really like about it, which is, like you said, the storybook presentation, where the game starts out where it just plays like a typical Zelda light game. I mean, the puzzles are not anywhere near as complex as a Zelda game, but it's like that over-the-top view. You got a melee weapon. You can also throw the weapon.
Plenty of
And you're
bushes to cut down.
Correct, and I do every one.
Of course.
Like the currency in this game is like little light bulbs.
Right, I assumed it was like representing imagination, like an
Okay,
Or
idea.
ideas.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that was my thought.
So the hook of this game is that the story that this character that you were controlling, the Plucky Squire, is actually a story from the mind of a child that is writing this in his book.
So close.
And it's so close. I'm off.
No, because the storybook it's like his favorite book, and it's inspiring him to want to be a writer.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I'm totally selling this game wrong.
Yeah, so this is his favorite book, and you find out early into the adventure that because the story goes off course. Because is it a spoiler to tell you what the bad guy's up to?
I feel like no.
Okay.
Like
the bad guy learns that they're in a book essentially, and he's
Mhm.
and he wants to rewrite the story. So now it is up to us, Jot, the Plucky Squire, to set things right, or otherwise, Sam, the boy who's obsessed with the Plucky Squire, like he's got Plucky Squire merch all over his desk. He's in love with the character, but if he's not inspired by this book, he'll never go on to write his own storybook series that he writes as an adult. You're warned. So you have to make sure the story stays on track to save the destiny of Sam, basically.
which I honestly love. Even though I got the story wrong when I was just describing it, playing this, I'm like, wow, that is really clever, and I just love where it goes because the villain in this game decides his way to rewrite the story is to kick the Plucky Squire out of the book
Right.
through like a portal, so he just winds up randomly in the real world. So he's actually in this boy's room, like walking around on his desk.
Right, and the game transforms into full 3D.
Right. So it goes from this like flat 2D, like Paper Mario, like you're talking, into full 3D, but you're still walking around in like a, Link to the Past style gameplay.
Right.
And that becomes a core mechanic of the game, at least up to where I am, where you're jumping back and forth from the book into the real world to get something done to come back in the world, and it's really clever. It's a really neat little hook. Zach, I'll let you take over from here. I don't know if we're ready to dive into specifics of.
Oh yeah, well I'll continue to lay on the positives.
Okay.
The premise is incredibly charming, no doubt, and the everything about the premise is incredible. I think it does. It's pretty flawed in its execution. I would say deeply flawed, maybe even. I do want to say that the last chapter and the ending, the last chapter is very cool actually, because they actually do something a little bit different. They don't stop letting go of your hand, but they do something different, which is cool. And I think the ending is very, very sweet, very, very charming, and was even a little bit touching.
So I should finish it, is what you're saying.
I would, because the game itself, if you're not looking for collectibles, this game is probably 6 hours. So it's really digestible. And I did get the platinum in this game, so I did track down all the collectibles and fully upgraded Jot and everything, and my total playtime was 8 hours. Oh wow! And that's 100% every trophy run. So yeah, probably 6 hours, right, for a regular playthrough sounds correct. I do want to say I thought the 3D segments were like a lot of fun, and a lot really creative, because the storybook setting is cool when you're like flipping the pages, you're going between these different areas, and that's fun. But when you're out on the desk, it's like everything is made out of toys, basically. It's like little levels that Sam made on his desk where he's like stacking dominoes to make a bridge or something like that, and it's just really cute that you don't get to see what's next. And they do silly things like there are these beetles you have to like sneak around occasionally. Yeah. But it's because Sam keeps pet beetles, which I would say makes him a sociopath of some kind, no doubt. but it's
well,
really...
how old is Sam?
10.
Hey, you never like caught like lightning bugs or stuff and kept them in jars?
No, but okay. I've also never killed anybody. So, well, maybe.
Not on purpose.
No, yeah, of course not. But with lightning bugs, that would be too far, obviously. It is a top to bottom, very charming premise, and I like Jod. I like his little friends. However, Scott, do you want to?
Well, this is where it gets difficult, because I feel like we were so hyped on this game. We've been talking about it for months. Well, it's very much looking forward to the release, and I think I texted Zach and said, I think Astrobot has ruined games for me, because that game was just like nonstop fun. And the Plucky Squire is very simplistic, and the game, like Zach alluded to, holds your hand so hard that I can't imagine what story mode on this game is, which, yes, this game has a story mode that just makes it so there's no difficulty whatsoever. That has to be just like watching a movie or something, because it's very, very simple.
Right. If I could elaborate, Scott, I don't want to step over you.
You're good.
But the reason the hand-holding feels so egregious, and the reason that, because I was also worried like you, Scott, where I was like, oh, I think Astrobot maybe just ruined kids games or or all audience games, But Plucky Squire, I do not think that is the case, Scott. I'm going to give you an absolution, because in the rare instances of Plucky Squire, it does just let you play it. It is fun. But the problem, CB, is that let's say you walk into a room, the characters talk about, oh man, look, seems like there's a forest here. And then you take 3 steps, and now you're talking to some other character about like, hey, look, check out that forest over there. You're like, yeah. And then you like walk towards the forest, like, man, and then the characters stop to talk about, well, we can't get through the forest. We better find some other way. And then you find the other way, and they're like, oh, I'm so glad we found that other way. This is great news. And you're like, well, you just let me play it. I think I can decipher how to get across the forest.
Yeah, like, can we have like a hard mode where you don't like give me these hints every single, like you just walk in, there's like a little wizard that basically tells you how to solve the puzzle before you even try it.
Well, the wizard you don't have to talk to. He's optional.
Right.
But that's the frustration, is because there is your hint solution then. So why is the character telling me everything? Because, CB, I'm not done. When you get to the other side of the forest, through the way you found or whatever, like, oh, thank God we found the item. thank God we found the item we were looking for in the forest. I wonder if there's a way we can get it back through the forest. And then you start to do that, and they're like, oh, I don't know if we can get it through like it is. I'm like, yeah, I know that, man, but you won't let me do it. You keep stopping me.
Right.
Or like for instance, there's a quest at one point early on in the game where you have to collect these 6 pigs. And every time you grab one, they go, 5 more to go. Oh, 4 more to go. I'm like, yeah, dude, I can count. And the defense is going to be, well, it's a kid's game, you know, but kids aren't idiots, right? You know,
okay.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay, some kids are idiots, but when you were a kid, you figured out Zelda. When I was a kid, I figured out Ocarina of Time, Mario 64.
This almost sounds like it's for a very, very specific age range, specifically 2 to 3.5.
That,
except they can't read.
But
But I'm sure that there's like got to be some way to do text to speech.
No, well, not in the game anyway.
Okay, then it's for 3 to 4.5.
That's a lot of reading for a 3 and 4.5-year-old.
Perhaps, then,
but
though
but
it is
the reading
strange,
comprehension seems there.
It is strange then that the story is so much about savoring your childhood. But
right.
If I set that aside, I still feel like the game is clearly targeting kids, but it does not trust kids, and that is frustrating.
Here, the thing that bugs me about the simplicity of this game is the puzzle solutions are so simple, even if you avoid the hints. There's like a fun mechanic where you're reading a storybook and the words are on the page. Like you're physically walking across words on the page that are telling what's going on or describing the forest or describing whatever. And you can attack those words and they will pop off of that and leave a blank. And then you have to find the word that changes this into something to fill in the blank, and then it changes the environment, which allows you to pass it, which is an interesting concept. Like, for instance, there's one that describes a gate. You know, the gate was closed or something, and you chop the word closed, and then you go get the word tiny, and you bring the word tiny to you, and now it says the gate was tiny. So it makes the gate very tiny, and you can go over it or something like that. It's a clever idea. The problem is it's not like you have a whole lot of options. You've got like maybe 3 words, so just by process of elimination, you're going to get it. Like I watched this and I went, man, I wish they would do the Scribblenauts thing where you could like write a word in there. You know what I mean?
That's a different game then, though.
So, I understand, but
okay, so here's the thing though, like the more you guys keep explaining this to me, and I like, it definitely feels like this is a game that's meant for someone with someone in that age range. Like, this is an interactive storybook that like you can literally sit here and like say hold the Steam Deck or the PlayStation 5 thing and be doing these things as you're reading them to the child. So when you're like, oh, gotta find
is that
5.
a market?
But the way you're describing it to me, like, that's the only thing that makes sense for this to me. Because you're sitting here like, there's 5 more pigs, and then the kid like looks at the screen, he's like, oh, there's one, and you go it up, and you're like, and then the words pop up, and the kid's like, essentially read it to me. Like, it just seems like a very interactive storybook.
And a very specific audience, if so. However, they also never marketed like that at any point.
Yeah.
Well, I understand it, but like, to me, like, that's how I would interpret this game.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate your perspective as the only father here.
Yeah,
and I do hear you. And that you're right. That's the only thing that makes sense. But I would say that either you could have a difficulty mode that's like for grown-ups. You know, you could even call it for grown-ups or something like that. Or you know, you just like make it clear in any of the marketing over the past 2 years since the game was announced that was what the game was.
Yeah.
Because if that's how the game plays and somebody gave me this game, I probably wouldn't finish it.
I consider not, but I'm intrigued to see what the end has in store, like Zach was talking. I don't mean to just like crap on this game. I think a lot of it is I was just so stoked about it just because it looked like such a clever concept. But even like Zach, do your companions ever become useful? Because the point where I'm at, you go into like a dungeon or whatever, and your buddies are like, all right, well, we'll just stay here and wait for you. We're not going to go in there and like cramp your style. And then you go through and do the dungeon by yourself.
They become useful in the final level.
Okay.
So they do. Both of your buddies have a little bit of a little arc. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's
so
good to know, because I was just like, why are they even here?
Yes. No. I think the companions get paid off. There's also, I do think the game has a lot of variety. You know, there's like shoot 'em up stuff. There's like puzzle game. There's a lot of interesting mini games.
Yeah, that's fair.
And those are cool to get to and to see what's next. And the way they're used with your companions even are pretty cool. But it is it's so frustrating to get there. The game, I think, is a very clear case of why won't you let me love you?
Yeah,
because you know, everything in the premise and so much of the gameplay would be great if you would just let me play it for longer than, I mean, when you're in the storybook sections, you're probably never going more than 30 seconds without getting interrupted and made to stop playing. Yep. Legitimately. And that is very frustrating. Even if you were 3 years old, I think that would be very annoying, right? Because you're just getting used to swinging your sword, and all of a sudden everybody's got to stop to talk. You know, and this is not a Hideo Kojima production. You know, I do not expect Kodak calls all the time. And you know, and especially for, you know, the story is you know, sweet and charming, but it's not, you know, deep, right? You know, so it's I don't know if it demands this amount of screen time. Yeah, so it's just, the game is frustrating because you can see in those brief moments when it does let you play for like more than a minute uninterrupted, you could see like, this could be great. You know, a sequel could be great if they learn to trust kids.
I was just going to say that. I would like to see them do something else and they don't hold your hand as much in the next one. But because it really just feels like a chore to get through. I'm just like, I'm a reader. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem reading. I'm not like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I got to read in this video game again. It's not like that. It's just that like unnecessary conversations. Then I just want to go do it. I want to go play the game. Like you said, Let me love you. That's a very great way to put it, Zach. I wanted to love that game so much. I'm just kind of disappointed by it. So what are we gonna do?
So if you ask the question, do you recommend? No, I don't think I do.
It's not like a hard pass. It's just like maybe wait for a sale, because I think there's a lot of charm to it, but it's just not a rush out and buy by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a good way for a sale game because, you know, value is obviously determined by the purchaser, but there's a lot of other games you could buy for $30.
I agree. Moving on, Zach, you have been playing a game called Caravan Sandwitch, and I think it's important to note that sandwich is spelled Sandwitch. I don't know if there's any significance to that because I did not see any witches in the trailer, but
yeah.
Well, and it's also important to note too, caravan means something different in Europe than it does here. When I hear caravan, I think a convoy of vehicles, and in Europe, to my knowledge, a caravan is like a camper trailer.
Yeah, well, that's what, like in the game, you have a van that you're moving around on. Like, I guess it could be a camper van. I don't know, but
an RV.
Yes, I think so. And well, is the developer European or are they?
I don't know. I was just assuming, and the only reason I know that is from the movie Snatch. Is they called it a caravan? It was a trailer.
Oh, that was in yeah, because you know what, they are French.
Okay,
so maybe they, you know, we mon ami, I guess. Yeah, but the game intrigued me, Scott, because the trailer was really giving me Lake vibes, and you know, I loved Lake.
Slice of life games, you love those.
Absolutely, and this had a similar focus on community, at least in the trailers, you know, and that bears out in the game. It is a very much like get to know your neighbors sort of story, and it's a very, very much a cozy sort of game. You know, I know those are increasing popularity over the past few years.
Yes, they are,
and like so much so that this game has no combat. There's no fall damage, because there's a lot of climbing in the game, but you never have to worry about death. There's no way to die. So it is just kind of leisure, take your time sort of thing. And but the crux of the game is you play as this character Sage, and she's looking for her missing sister. Sister went missing a number of years ago, but she gets a distress call from her sister, so she goes to investigate it. And that's kind of the overlying mystery of the game, and that's all well and good. But the real intrigue for me is just getting to know everybody in the little town that I can't remember the name of, unfortunately. But it's it's a nice little, like, it's like a post-apocalyptic sort of sci-fi setting where it seems like this giant corporation abandoned this planet and the people on it, that like they stopped like mid whatever project they had it going on, and other people are just kind of left fending for themselves.
Oh, okay.
So they're all kind of on borrowed time, but they also seem to just be embracing life, though. So that's interesting.
What do you mean by that? Like they're just like whatever happens kind of thing?
Yeah, like even though the circumstances around them are obviously pretty dire, they all just kind of seem able to focus on the strength of community and making sure they grow tomatoes for each other, or like like everyone's just kind of got a we're in this together attitude, which is really nice.
Is it just all in the story, or is there any gameplay associated with that, or is it just you really just talking to people?
I mean, the only thing really is like people are giving you tasks to like, hey, our water thing's broken, can you fix it? And then you click a button and then you fix it.
Oh, okay.
So, yes.
Question mark? Yes.
I just I guess so. Like, there's no like meta game if that's what you're trying to get at.
No, I know. It's just the reason I ask is because you love these slice of life things,
Mm-hmm.
and I tend to shy away from them because I don't feel like I have a whole lot of importance in a game when I'm just talking to people and learning about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I want to have a part of it, and if I'm just clicking on something to fix it, I don't really feel a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be for you.
Yeah.
That's okay. But the general gameplay is you get this van early on, and you're from Rose, nice old lady, likes to grow her tomatoes. And you're basically just driving it out as people are assigning you different tasks because it's the last working van. So you're kind of the fix it all kind of gal. And you go out to these areas and you like climb these things to stop they have these signal jammers that the corporation put down. So you're kind of disabling those. And the general loop of the game is, as you're doing these different tasks for the town folk, you're going to be sent to these areas. And as you're climbing, you're going to find different component parts. They're not like super hidden. They're almost like coins in Mario or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You're going to see a lot of them, and you need to collect enough of them to upgrade your van. And then whenever you do that, you get a new tool, and that kind of advances the main narrative. Because while the van's getting upgraded, a few days pass, and that's kind of how the story moves along throughout the game.
Okay.
The story does a good job keeping intrigue for the main story of like your sister or whatever, because you're followed by this strange person in like a sun hat. I assume, maybe perhaps a witch, maybe a sandwich, if you will. Yummy.
Not a sun witch, but a sandwich.
A sandwich. And but it's interesting because that person will like, you'll just be climbing and you'll get over a wall, and then that person, they'll just be standing there. And if you chase after them, they just like ninja away. They like get out of there, but it's cool because like it keeps happening random. Like even if you're in a non-story area, like I was just claiming like a random rock, and all of a sudden they might just show up there real quick. It's kind of an interesting little thing about trying to find out who that person is. But again, the general reason you're here is the slice of life stuff, and I've been enjoying it greatly.
All right. That is Caravan Sandwich from developer Studio Plain Toast.
Yeah, I do need to offer one critique, however.
Oh, okay.
Because the game has a lot of dialogue, which is fine. But it is a very rare instance where like I'm noticing the lack of voice acting.
Oh.
Because I don't feel like that usually enters my mind. But I think there's something about like the character speaks so much, especially like sometimes you're driving around in the van. And you need to be driving whilst also clicking through dialogue, and it's kind of weird to do. I'm not gonna lie.
Like physically steering the vehicle and reading dialogue.
and pressing a different button to advance the dialogue.
Huh.
Which is, it's not a very comfortable feeling, but it, I don't know why, but it feels like voice acting would have gone a long way. And I know that's an obvious huge increase to any game's budget. I'm not
right,
immune to that information. It's just I don't know. I don't often think about whether voice acting is present or not, but for some reason with this game, I was like, I do kind of wish they had a little voice to breathe breathe some extra life into these characters, because they're very compelling characters. I just kind of, I don't know. I do wish they had a little performances to them.
I think that's a fair criticism, man.
All right.
Yeah, like you said, it's a huge expense, but it goes a long way for something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Caravan Sandwitch is published by Dear Villagers, and we were provided a review copy of that from Press Engine, so thanks to those guys. Caravan Sandwich.
Absolutely. Though, if you're tired of just enjoying life, why not end thousands of lives in Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2? Which CB you've been playing on Xbox. Now, this game has intrigued me due to its very Gears of War energy.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. It's
right. With no cover system, obviously.
No. Why need cover when you kill and smash?
For the Emperor, no doubt.
For the Emperor. Yeah, so I played Space Marine 1 back in the 360 days.
Right, a long time ago now.
Yeah, so that's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a direct sequel. You played the same character.
That is very surprising to me after all this time.
Especially with the fact that the game takes place 200 years later.
Oh, do people live that long in Warhammer?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Well, specifically like Space Marines. Okay. For those of you who've never played a Warhammer 40k game or have never been introduced into the Warhammer 40k universe, Space Marine and Space Marine 2 are a wonderful way to get in. They're very rich in story and some of the lore. I played Space Marine 1, didn't really care about Warhammer 40k at the time. I've been playing this. I can't stop consuming information about this universe.
Oh, intriguing.
Dude, if you went onto my YouTube playlist right now, I've probably spent 10 hours over the past 2 days just listening to stories about the 40k universe.
Oh boy, you've gone down a lore well.
Oh, dude, it's such a fascinating universe because it's Earth 40,000 years from now. Plain and simple.
Interesting. So did the Space Marine 1 end on a cliffhanger that is finally being resolved on here?
No.
Or no? So the first one was a standalone story. I guess it wouldn't be that's a stupid question if it was 200 years later.
Well, okay,
No,
time works differently for Space Marines because they live an incredibly long time compared to humans. The head of the Imperium in the 40k universe, the God Emperor himself, is over 40,000 years old.
Wow.
It was originally thought he was possibly even Genghis Khan. So it's crazy.
Genghis Khan, okay.
The character is thought to be this guiding hand of humanity over time, and now he's so old and has been so. Dude, it the lore is insane. You just have to watch because it's so hard to explain. For somebody who's new to this universe again. But the gameplay. So you play as Ultramarine Titus,
right? Yeah,
yes.
Titus, okay.
Titus loves kill. Smash good.
Now is Titus, is he a big deal in 40k or is he just for these games?
Just for these games.
Okay.
So yes, because there's so many characters in this universe. But yeah, so you are without getting into great detail, you are going to a planet to stop an invasion of Tyranids, and this is at the beginning of the 4th Tyranid War in the 40K universe.
They sure do have war over there.
Well, everything is war in the 40K universe. The best way to describe the Tyranids is think the Flood with a better brain.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Like hyper dangerous. Like everything's connected to a hive mind, but like they have splinter cells that can like think for themselves. Man, like the tactics that these things will use, like I died like 3 times in the first mission. Like, wow. They will flank because you aren't super fat. Like, you aren't super fast. Like, you are a big lumbering human.
Is this in third person?
It's over the shoulder, third person. But it was just getting used to the controls again. Like the fact that your main weapons are, you have a pistol, a chainsword, or you can opt for a bigger gun.
Okay.
Just there's so much hack and slash.
And does it feel good?
Oh, like, dude, it feels great. It feels so good because like the Space Marines are these like they're like the pinnacle of war. Mm-hmm. So like you will be surrounded by enemies and you're just sitting here just shooting and hacking and slashing away, and you get into a rhythm. Like once I finally got into a rhythm, like how to play this, dude, it feels so good to just run into like a massive enemies and just be like, I'm gonna battle my way out. This is
because that's how you. That's like your play style. The game is just speaking to your play style.
But that's like, that's the great thing about this is you can play like me, or because you can actually play with up to 2 of your friends for this, and it is cross-platform. But like you could have somebody who's like, I'm going to be a Space Marine who's a sniper.
All right, I'm in.
Granted, I haven't played with the sniping mechanics, so I couldn't really tell you. I have my pistol, my chainsword, and essentially a shotgun that shoots fire.
Nice. That sounds intriguing.
And it is glorious.
I've heard that the gore is
very intense.
Yeah, like it's very like the blood has like a thickness to it.
Oh yeah. The more you battle and everything, it starts getting like caked on your armor.
I love it when games do that.
Oh dude, it's so good. But the AI, like the AI that works with you, like if you aren't playing with like friends, isn't stupid. Like I'll get knocked down. It's right. Like I'll start like strafing away from them, like just battling into a horde of enemies, and they follow through, but make sure that they're clearing so I'm not getting flanked. It's been a while since like this type of game, because it feels like Doom on steroids.
But it's not as quick as Doom, right?
No,
like it's
definitely more methodical.
Is there active reload and glory kills?
There are glory kills. There is not active reload.
Okay. So you said like, is that how you get your health or armor back or something like that? Then the glory kills.
No. You can get some armor back.
Okay.
But
well, that's the appeal of glory kills to me.
Yeah, but it works slightly differently. Like your health gets ticked down and everything. Glory kills don't give that back. Like you need to make sure that you're constantly moving. Like making sure you're not getting too overwhelmed. You're like after a fight gets done or you have a glory kill, like it'll fill one of your armor slots because you have 3 of them. The armor ticks down. And then you start losing health, but you can use like meds, like stim packs. But like all the different enemies, like the Tyranids, like, so they've got like the basic ones that like just keep swarming you. And then they've got grunts, like that come in with like swords or ones that stay farther away and shoot. Like everything feels like it's being purpose driven, like to kill you. And you have to like analyze and make sure like, okay, like I need to kill those because those shots are hurting me more than these guys biting my feet. So like there was one section like there's like over 1,000 enemies on the screen.
Right,
And
well,
you're
this-
just
1,000?
going to town.
These are the guys who did the that World War Z game, right, from a few years ago. So they got the
Yeah.
Oh,
they got some crowd tech going.
Oh, dude,
Did
and it's great because like when there's a couple like you're on battlements in this game, in like certain sections, like going through the story, and you can look off up these hill and you can see just thousands of these things running down the hill towards like your encampment, and you're like, it's go time.
so it sounds like this game just really gives you the sense of a grander scale of war
Yes,
than like even like Gears of War, where you're just coming across a mini arena and moving on to the next mini arena. This is just like full on battlefield.
yes.
That's intriguing to me.
But it's cool because like in that story of like the 40K universe, like a Space Marine is like something that you could drop a squad of Space Marines onto a planet and they're going to mess things up.
Now these guys are like taller than humans, right?
They're
kinda
like 9
Spartans.
feet tall.
Yeah.
So like, and because there's like the humans that are like just the like regular military grunts like fighting around you below, and you're just stomping and smashing things, and they're like, "We're gonna kill them all," and like you just watch them get mowed over. So you watch like regular humans just dying around you as you're like, "Yep, I'm doing just fine."
I'm gonna have to play this game,
Dude,
So
it's fun. The story, like, it's ridiculous, but I will warn you, man. Like, it's a big dark lore hole.
yeah, but do you have to know that lore
Nope,
to
not at all.
understand this condensed story? Okay, so
No, 'cause-
I'm not gonna have to go down 10 hours of YouTube to appreciate the story in this.
No,
game.
but it really makes you want to play the tabletop version.
Okay, that's the one where you throw like mittfuls of dice. I think.
Yes, because you're commanding like armies,
Right.
but the game looks awesome. The story so far has been super intriguing. The gameplay, like it's rough at first, but once you get a rhythm to figure out like how you want to play, dude, it's so much fun. I don't care if this game is
Alright.
short, and sooner or later I know they're going to be doing like PvP stuff for it too, where you can play as the different legions. Oh, I'm
So
so
is there no
excited.
multiplayer at launch, like versus multiplayer? I know you can do. The
I
co-op and
don't
stuff.
know. I haven't tested any of that. I just wanted to get through the
okay.
story and get a feel for the game first. But if there's multiplayer, like later on, like PvP multiplayer, oh dude, I so want to play.
Especially if you have like that many. I almost said Spartans. Space Marines on each side. That could just be really interesting.
Oh yes, dude,
What-
like it's a lot of fun, man.
I'm pretty sure there is a PvP mode, but I also know there's like a separate co-op mode where it like has a story that runs concurrently to the main one or whatever, and that one has like where you like pick different classes and stuff, and you can like level up. Seems more of a repeatable content thing. I don't know. It sounded kind of cool.
If
This
dude,
whole
if that's the
thing sounds
case,
cool.
I'm gonna be jumping right into that after I finish the main story.
Yeah.
That is Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. Sounds like you don't have to have played the first one to appreciate this one.
No, so
All right, good.
but if you have, there's some lore, like there's some lore and story that ties in from the first one.
Okay. I will be checking that one out. Got one more review for you guys. Chris Owens stopped by to talk about a game that he's been checking out for us. Let's hear it right now. Chris Owens, long time no see, man. How you doing?
Long time no see. We're talking, buddy. Well, I guess you can see me, but hey.
I can see you.
Technicality,
The listeners
technicality.
Can't see you, but it's been a long time since we've had you on here reviewing a game, and this was like a bread and butter game for you if there ever was one, because you were a Mr. Sports Game. You're one of the only guys I know that plays Madden every year religiously, except for maybe Matt Sattler does as well. But this one was announced, I believe, at the Nintendo Direct several months ago. Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. You're playing this on Xbox, but it is also available on PlayStation, Switch, and PC. I don't know. When I see games like this, I'm reminded of all those Mario sports games, like Mario Baseball, or what was it called?
Super
Strikers?
Sluggers and Strikers, which I love the Striker
Yeah.
series, so good shout out there.
Yeah. Or even some of those arcadey basketball games from like the PS2, Xbox era. What were the NBA Street?
Street, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of the vibe I got from looking at this. But tell me about Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports.
Your vibe's not far off, and it's that really cartoony type base sports game. You're in a rally with other Looney Tunes players, and you're playing against them for the Golden Anvil as the main part of the game, and you participate in 4 sports: basketball, soccer, golf, and tennis. And it's varied between the sports and who you actually participate with. It's preset teams that you play each other for points based on actual victories and actual performance within the games. And
so at what point do the Quad City DJs start playing music? That's what I really want to know.
That I would love to hear. I actually was thinking that during the basketball portion, like, boy, where's MJ and where's the Quad City DJs to lay out their jam? So that would have been interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if we want to go through all 4 of the sports here, but let's start with the obvious one, basketball. Is it 3-on-3? Is it 5-on-5?
It's 2-on-2, and it's very much. And I say this with respect, a very watered down NBA Jam.
Okay.
For somebody like me, I actually had some difficulty with it because you're used to a preset button layout that you played forever, as far as NBA Jam controls versus Looney Tunes controls, and the layout and the play style are very similar to those, with switching players and passing and calling for alley-oops and shoving your opponents and those components. So maybe more for a younger generation, I think it's a little more geared towards them because it's definitely lighter in that aspect. So I did have some struggle there, but it had those flavors of an NBA Jam type environment.
Okay. What about, I forgot the other ones, golf? I wasn't expecting golf.
Neither did I. I played with my wife last night, and she games with me on really cartoony type stuff, so this is obviously right up her alley. She'll play Super Mario Bros. With me all the time, Crash Bandicoot. But this one she actually picked up and did pretty well. She did the tutorial. I was with her when she did the tutorial, and she picked it up. She played just as well as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And
a typical 3-hit marks, like in a golf game.
It's the range on the side, and the first button push is for your power, and the second for your accuracy. So you actually have to hit the power button, and you have to actually match that power hit to hit an accurate shot. And you can move the control stick for hooking and slicing as you need to. There's better than power-ups. There's power-ups that you can use that you earn during play that you can use to better your own shot or to sabotage your opponent's shot with anvils and bombs, if you will. And there's even the famous red X's from the Acme cartoons that if you were to hit your ball and would land in that spot, it would get blown up and the ball would get moved to another part of the course. So golf, along with other, and I think more in the golf than any other sport, it brings in some of those de facto Looney Tune objects, if you will, that we know from our youth to into the game. And how my wife put, I thought was pretty. I'll give her credit for this one. She says it's golden tea for those young at heart.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was a mind blowing way to put it, and I couldn't agree more.
Okay. What about soccer or football?
Football, not just North Americano, because that's like football. That one's also, it's a 3-on-3, and that one's pass, shoot, score. It's not real much. You can slide to hit your opponent, so it's definitely I think there was a FIFA Street, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Not one that I partook in myself, but again had that vibe to it with the Looney Tunes characters. Not a lot going on as far as power-ups are concerned, and that's just from the flavor I get from the action that I played. And when you're picking characters for that in any other sport, there's different attributes that they have for power, for speed, for intelligence. There's even intelligence in that aspect that pairs up the players. And in soccer, that kind of it's odd because the controls are for a soccer game that you expect, but you don't see a lot of those attributes in that type of sport.
Gotcha. And what's the last sport?
Tennis.
Yep. Okay, that's doubles, singles.
It's doubles, and it plays the doubles rules. And I found the controls on that quite clunky, quite frankly, because the speed you kind of misjudge a little bit, and then you hit a ball and it doesn't move great to get to the ball to move out. So, I mean, once you kind of get into the groove of it and know where you have to be, it can be a little bit better. But again, it's a little more for maybe a beginner player or a younger player to really kind of get into sports games in that area.
Which is interesting because I understand it's very cartoony, but I still feel like Looney Tunes would be scratching nostalgia itch more than the younger generation itch. You know what I mean? I don't have kids, so I don't know if they still watch Bugs Bunny and all that. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
that's something we grew up with.
We're in our 40s now. A little older, wiser as of yesterday. Thanks.
Yeah.
I still watch Looney Tunes if I got to scratch the itch. You do too. Don't lie. And this game does it too in that area, but frankly, it does it briefly, and it's one and done. I mean, it's something that we'll pick up if we're kind of like, oh, let's just play a game, let's just kind of kill some time or whatever, but nothing to really dive in and say, wow, this is really taking me back to my childhood. It doesn't do that, unfortunately.
So it's not scratching the nostalgia itch. It's not super responsive controls. Doesn't sound like it's drawing you in too much.
It's not, and again, it's one that I can play with my spouse who doesn't do a lot of deep gaming, or if a couple of kids want to get together, just to kind of, if they are aware of Looney Tunes, like you put back to it, which I hope they are, because they try to bring them back to give them some attention in the mainstream. But this, for folks that play Madden, play NHL, I mean, hockey's not in the game, obviously, but anybody that's really a hardcore sports gamer is not going to find much pleasure in this game.
I mean, I think that's expected for a game like this. I mean, there was a lot of fun to be had with the Mario sports titles from the GameCube era and beyond, for sure. But that's going to have that Nintendo sheer to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where they got it right, Scott. And I think you nailed it. Is that the Nintendo sports? You have your Nintendo characters. Everybody loves them. Everybody plays them. It was easy to pick up and go. But this is not again, Looney Tunes is not something that's really been in the forefront of the American psyche. It really hasn't, because in the 90s you had Space Jam, and then they had another Looney Tunes movie. And then I don't recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall seeing anything up until the LeBron James reboot of Space Jam. And that's 25 years. And,
I mean, I was at Six Flags, and it's still all over Six Flags. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing the cartoons in line, and it's all part of the branding and everything like that, too. So it's still in their faces. I just don't have kids, but I never hear any kids talking about, oh, did you see that latest Roadrunner cartoon? Which isn't fair when it comes to like the quality of a game, but it sounds like it's just okay in terms of gameplay.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It is just okay, and it's not terrible by any means. I mean, again, for those of us that are aware, and I am, of what Looney Tunes is, and it has the voices, it has the quirks, it has the ups and downs that you would expect from Looney Tunes characters' reactions when you play the game. It doesn't hold it enough to really make it a long-standing, enjoyable thing to play with.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for checking that out, man. Again, that is Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. It's developed by Bamtang Games, published by Game Mill Entertainment, and it was provided to us by Sandbox Strategies. So shout out to that team for hooking up with that copy, man. Awesome talking with you, man. Don't be a stranger. Let's make this happen more often.
Absolutely, brother.
All right. Well, we'll catch you later, and happy belated birthday, man.
Thank you, sir.
Catch you later. Thank you, Chris. Good to hear from him. It's been quite a while. We do have one new Facebook member to say hello to, Ren Gratsky. Welcome to the community. Hope you're enjoying the content over there. And also over on Discord, Caspian Ridgeway is a new member. He or she just joined very recently as well. Lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all of our content, including our written content. And Alyssa has a written review for Caravan Sandwitch that Zack just talked about a little while ago. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. As we talked earlier, Sony just announced their special edition of the PS5 Pro that has a very retro look to it. It got us thinking about how we feel about spending some extra coin on hardware featuring our favorite video game titles. So what are your guys' thoughts on these higher cost consoles? CB, you're a collector. I had to assume this is right in your wheelhouse. Why do you like to pick these things up?
They look pretty.
That's enough. That's it.
Well, some of them look really, really cool. Some of them look really, really dumb.
Mhm.
But from a collector standpoint, some of them hold like a special spot. Like they've been done for a reason.
Mhm.
It's just like the PS5 Pro, like they're celebrating something.
Right.
One of the ones I have my translucent Halo original Xbox.
Mhm.
So I mean, I like them. The problem is sometimes they do the ones that they're like, we're only doing 5 of these.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, now it's like for those of us that like the Godzilla Xbox that they did for it was the Xbox One. They did a Godzilla release one. I wanted one so bad, but they made one.
I hate that, dude. That's so stupid.
And they usually just do that like with a giveaway. One lucky person gets this thing.
Right. It's so annoying.
Take my money, guys. Like
Yeah.
seriously.
I mean, if they made that Godzilla one, like it would sell like gangbusters.
Dude, especially like Godzilla's hotter than ever right now.
But this was like hot on the back of like the 20. I think it was King of the Monsters, like when it was Godzilla versus Ghidorah,
Right.
and like, dude, everybody would have gone nuts for it. Or they make like, we made these 5 limited controllers, but they're only giveaways. You can't buy them.
Right.
So it's irritating for that. Like, you remember the gold Taco Bell PS4s?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like at
you
least
can only
it was,
like win those with a peel off thing or something, right?
yeah. So there was more of those. Like one of my friends here in town won one of those.
Oh wow.
So like those are more common, but as far as like the purchase ones, I just wish I like when they make more than like 50,000 of them. Like if you're only going to
Well,
make 10, it's kind of
even
annoying.
then, man, like at 50,000 by today's standards,
For a console,
if you want one, it's going to be a struggle to find one. Yes.
I don't know about that.
In today's scalpers market, it is absolutely going to be hard to find.
That's
one.
the problem. It's the scalpers, because there are
I know.
scalpers still sitting on like the regular PS5s that they bought.
There was
at
a
launch.
dude. I think I shared this with Zack earlier today, that posted on eBay trying to sell a PS5 Pro. I think it was the special edition one, actually. I think, which isn't even available for pre-order yet, and he was putting on eBay. What was it, Zack? $10,000.
Well, the listing you're talking about, which got taken down because it was obviously a scam, but it was $10,000, and he would attempt to get you the PS5 Pro,
Right?
special
Which,
edition.
but that's what these people's mentality is how much money can I make? It drives me crazy. We had a whole episode on scalpers.
No, they're
Go listen to that.
The
they are
scum of the
complete-
universe.
complete and utter scum. There's no doubt about it.
It drives me nuts.
But yes,
Zach, what do you think about these?
Oh, I mean, they're cool. I think I'm past the point where they like actually entice me generally.
Same boat, yeah.
They used to be more interesting, but rebuying an entire console just for a different faceplate is tough. If they're a little more intricate, they're cooler. Like where like it's a full makeover or something like that. But you think of something like that. Was it like the Darth Vader PSP, where like it just kind of has like a sticker of Darth Vader on the back or whatever.
oh, that's
Yeah.
the PSP ones were the worst, because when you have to hold it, sometimes like those rub off.
Yeah, they just weren't. Yeah, they weren't very well done. So yeah, how I feel about them is they're cool. I wish they would announce them closer to when the console releases, so you could reasonably get one. But that's not what they want, right? Nintendo wants you to buy a whole other Switch so you have the Zelda decal on it,
Right.
because then they make $300. And the frustrated in the modern era, especially like the PS5 stuff, right, is that they do have customizable faceplate colors you can buy from PlayStation Direct, which means they could do that with the gray, but they choose instead to go with the other option where they can get you to fully double dip.
Right. Force you to buy the whole console instead of allowing you to do a cheaper route to make it still look cool.
Right. So it's just so transparent I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That it can be frustrating, but it's just how they do it. But there's definitely stuff that looks cool. Like I still think about, I guess this isn't a console, but I still think about like the Titanfall controller for Xbox One, how cool it looked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even honestly, the Concord controller kind of looked cool.
Yes.
And I think I'm in the same boat that like I would rather have a cool looking controller than a console,
Definitely,
because
the
I don't
point
look
of
at my
entry is
console that
lower.
often. Well, that too.
Yeah, the lower cost helps, but I think Scott is absolutely right. Or where my consoles are now, my entertainment center, I can't even see them really.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the controller I'm seeing every single day. That's why I want that PS1 controller so bad, the DualSense.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep an eye on that for the three of us. Now that I know that we all really want one. Are they gonna be $100 though? Or
They'll
They're
probably be
80.
$99.99.
They're 80.
Yeah.
They're 80.
Oh, they're 80.
Yep.
Okay.
The prices of the controllers and the regular PS5 leaked. The regular PS5 is a $50 markup. How adorable! but the controllers are just 80.
Okay. I
Well,
hope
I mean,
they
even-
make plenty of them.
Yeah.
Even if they were 100, I feel like I would cave, honestly.
I would at $100 too. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't have, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a second controller anyway.
Right. So it's a convenient excuse for all the split screen you're playing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I need it.
And see, like,
Uh,
man, I do love me a controller though.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Last couple thoughts. If anybody has one, every time I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, I'm not yucking anybody's yum. I understand the desire for them. It's just not something. It's not where I want to spend my money. But as
especially
you can see,
if you already own the console.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the bigger thing for me is these special editions don't come out at launch when the console originally launches.
Right.
If they did that at launch and they gave you like some options,
right. A Ghost of Tsushima PS5 option.
yeah. Or even like whenever the PS6 comes out, if they just had like 10 different consoles available, like one is a just Final Fantasy VII themed one, you know what I mean, or something like that, then I would get on board. But I'm not gonna go through the hassle of selling my old console to a private seller or to GameStop or whatever and putting that towards another console. Like at the end of the day, the console is the thing that I want to use as a vehicle to play the games that I want to play. I don't really look at that part of my entertainment console or whatever you call it, entertainment center, as a collectible piece. You know what I mean? I'm not like putting collectible things on there. It is a way for me to, make game playing easier.
But if you had like
CB looks like he's going to challenge me.
Well, okay, I understand where you're both coming from, but if you had a really gorgeous piece of tech, wouldn't you want to show it off? Like you'd
if
rearrange,
I had it, but yeah.
like
but it's
say
not
you
gonna...
had a neon green see-through Xbox Series X with like LEDs running through it, you'd find a way to like not have that buried in a console.
No, I would find a way to turn that feature off of the console because it would drive me crazy while I was playing a game.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of Xboxes, though, when they did like the that Gears of War one where it had the sound effects, that was cool.
Still
that
have
was
it.
pretty cool. Yeah, that's
or the Star Wars ones,
the R2D2 one.
Yeah. So
I feel that was like the best. That was the best era of those. Like when the Xbox did those, because they put a little bit more into them. Whereas like the PlayStation 3, they were like, "Here's a sticker."
Well, I think the Xbox One was it's getting so trounced that they didn't do anything they could.
Not the Xbox One. It was the Xbox 360 Slims.
Oh, I know. Oh, the Gears of War one was right. Those are the Star Wars ones were too.
The Gears of War one was. The Star Wars one was. They did a couple other ones too.
Okay, then I stand corrected. They were a company on top, and they still did cool stuff. Huh? Imagine.
Yeah, and they had because the R2D2 one, like you powered it on, it made R2 whistles when you opened it up. It made more, and when you shut it off, it did the R2 scream. But the controller that paired with it was a C3PO, and on the bottom it had the wires where like his stomach was.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. So I'd like to hear what consoles you guys have picked up over the years. Which one, or maybe more than one, convinced you to spend the money for a spiffy-looking piece of hardware featuring a game that you absolutely loved. Zach, do you have any?
Yeah, well, I mean, I bought the Spider-Man one.
The red one with the white Spider-Man logo, if I remember
Right.
correctly.
Yeah,
I
at
remember
a certain gaming event.
Really?
So I had to have that one. In that instance, I did already have a PS4 Pro. So, but there was so much excitement around that time for me in that game and everything. So I won't blame myself too much for that one.
No, do you still have it?
I do. Yeah, still in the box. It's still got PT on it.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's valuable in two ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, I still got that. I had I don't know. Think it was like a special edition color for Assassin's Creed Liberation. The Vita. It was the white OLED Vita.
Yep.
I still have that. Still use that. Pretty regularly actually. But those are the only two I can think of. There have been plenty over the years that I've wanted. I think there was a Halo Xbox, the original Xbox. So it was like see-through green.
Just two of them.
Okay. Well, I know my friend in middle school had one of those, and that was pretty cool. I really wanted the Gears of War 360, just because of the sound effects and everything.
Plus that logo was just so cool.
If you bought the 360, it came with 2 controllers that were all painted too.
That's super cool. Yeah. So there's definitely, I'm sure there are some that would make me cave out there. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Make a Green Lantern Xbox. I'll pick that thing up for the 0 Green Lantern games they make.
I was just gonna say it's a little hard. I want to get like a Zelda on my Xbox.
Sure. Well, Green Lantern on Xbox is more realistic than Zelda. Also,
well, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, how many Zelda consoles do you own, Scott?
Quite a few.
Oh my god!
But,
I'm so sorry. I didn't pick it up, but I really wanted that Mario and Luigi 3DS so bad. With that was like almost like the stencil drawing of them. And I think I think I told the story before where the Best Buy said they had one, and then I got there and they had just sold it like minutes before, and it disheartened me so much that I didn't even get a 3DS.
That's like that Seinfeld episode. Did we talk about that when you brought it up in the past?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know how to take a reservation. You just don't know how to hold a reservation.
Yeah.
But yes, I will. I'm gonna jump the gun here.
I was about to say you might as well
CB.
jump the gun, Scott, because mine will take him.
Yeah. We're not going through all of yours, man.
We're not, but we'll hit the highlights.
Okay.
Considering
so,
yours is just one thing.
Well, one-ish thing. Yeah, I will say that I have never owned a game-themed console that actually sat on my shelf and played my games. That being said, I have quite a few consoles that are Legend of Zelda themed that are still sealed up in the box on my shelf. I got the Tears of the Kingdom one. I've got there wasn't a Breath of the Wild one, but there was a Zelda themed Wii U.
Oh yeah,
that was actually really cool. The tablet with the gold like etching stuff around it. I've got a couple. I think I have a 3DS that is. No, I don't think they did a console. Mm-hmm. They just did the special edition.
Came out around the same time.
A Switch?
No, the Wii U. Because remember, Breath of the Wild was on the Wii U.
I feel like Scott would remember this.
I'm just saying. I feel like I would have too. I mean, there was a Zelda one, but it was Wind Waker. There was a Wind Waker Wii U. Right. I don't think there was a Breath of the Wild one. Because I had anything Breath of the when Breath of the Wild came out, I got everything I could Breath of the Wild. Like it was, I think I have 5 copies of that game at this point. I've also got another Zelda 3DS. I think I have a Zelda 2DS.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like this, and it's not even the right green. It's almost like even lighter than a Luigi green, so it doesn't even look cool. But I had to have it.
Well, you don't want the collection to be incomplete.
Well, I mean, there's no way. I don't even think there is such a thing as completing a Zelda collection, it'd be like saying, "Hey, did you complete your Green Lantern collection?"
Right.
There's just so much stuff. Like there's just, So yeah, my special edition consoles are all Zelda related. Oh no, you know what I did have once was I owned one of the What was the clamshell Game Boy Advance? Remember those?
Yeah. Mhm.
The SPs, is that
Right.
they were called?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had the one that was like made to look like an NES controller.
Oh yeah, I had that one too.
I love that thing, and I'm so mad at myself for selling it because that thing was awesome. That would look
Good
great
luck.
on my Nintendo
They're
shelf.
hard to come by these days.
They didn't make that many of them. I was shocked I got one so easily when in the early 2000s.
So I guess I lied. I guess I did have that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't think of Nintendo outside of the Zelda stuff. I mean, I guess there's Mario ones too. They had that Mario Switch, that red one that came out
Man,
last year.
someone with the yellow joysticks.
I don't remember yellow joysticks.
okay.
I just remember like the Switch itself was red, and then the thing that you dropped it into to put in your TV was all red.
Okay, I'm probably thinking some third party Joy-Con or something.
We gave one away at R2V2 last year, but I never saw it open because it was, we had it in a box. So
Right.
all right, CB, give us the highlights of some of your special edition consoles.
Oh, well, I mean, we already talked about my see-through green Xbox, the
Mhm.
Halo one. The Halo 2 one is actually see-through blue, and it was
I
a
was gonna say,
Canadian
I remembered it
only
being blue.
release.
Okay.
I have the crystal clear Xbox.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that one
You
looks
can
really
see the
good.
innards.
Yep. I want the Mountain Dew one so bad. I've got my Game Boy Micro Famicom colors. So it's like that
Oh, I
gold and
forgot
the
about those.
purple. Dude, those-
Micro is an apt name for those, by the way. I don't know if you have ever held one of those micros.
Oh yeah.
Zach.
dude, those
Sir.
are great. I also have the same Wii U as you, which I got thanks
The Wind
to
Waker.
cleaning out a certain storage area.
Nice.
I've had let's see, I've got the Gears of War 3 Xbox Slim, the Gears
Mhm.
of War 5 Xbox One S, the Xbox One X.
Isn't
Yeah.
there one that has the what's that thing called, Zach? The logo, the Crimson
Oh my God, Crimson Omen.
Omen. Thank you.
That's the
That's
3.
like it's like on the front of the console instead of like it being on the side, but it's almost like it's wrapped around the faceplate so you don't see the whole thing on the front of it, and it's kind of like tilted to that look. That was such a cool look to me instead of
yeah.
it just being like a centered logo that you see the entire thing. Just like the wraparound was a really cool look for that.
Yeah. I've got the Spider-Man one, which is my PS4 Pro that I use on the regular. I've gone through multiple PS4s. I had the Star Wars one. I had God of War one. The PS5. The PS4. Yeah, the God of War one. The Batman one, which I should have sold to Zack.
Yeah, you should have.
That
Too late
Arkham
now.
one- That Arkham one looked real good.
My age of being a total sucker's over for most stuff. If they pump out a near PS5 Pro, I'm sure I would cave on that.
It for me though, like I have more of the controllers. Like I've got a shelf of like all the special controllers, like the Fable 3 one.
What about Fallout? Don't you have a Fallout? Didn't they make a Vault-Tec one?
No, because that was only a giveaway.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It makes me mad. 'Cause
Why?
I'd have been like, take all my dollars.
You just had to do that to him, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, I've got a few. I've got the PS4 anniversary
Cool.
one, which looks really good.
I'm looking at this God of War PS4 Pro you're talking about. Dude, that thing looks awesome.
Dude, it looks sweet.
It's like the head of his axe. Oh, wow.
Yep. And then
That's
it's got
pretty
all the constellation marks.
Yeah, and all like runic symbols. Yeah, that's a pretty slick looking device.
Dude, the controller looks pretty nice too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely gotten more towards the collecting the controllers. Thanks to Scott, I got the 20th anniversary one, my Tron
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
I
I would buy a.
that
I would
Tron
buy a
controller
Tron.
looks so sweet. I'm so glad I got the white one instead of the normal blue or orange.
I think it's time for a rewatch of the Tron movies.
Oh, dude, I just did it like a couple weeks ago.
Both of
Did you?
them. Tough rewatch.
I'm just saying they're.
Yep.
I like those movies.
Well, that and then you have Tron Rising, and the game.
Yeah, the game's cool.
Yeah, the game is pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about
Prince
Ares
of
yet.
Persia knockoff. Well, it's got Jared Leto, so how good could it be?
Morbius. It's Morbid time.
So that's.
But yeah,
Oh, you got more?
no. But if anybody out there would gladly help me find chainsaw controller from Resident Evil 4, would love you forever.
Did we see one somewhere and I messaged you and like they've got one here and you're like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't at the time, but
Yeah.
I guess I get more excited for controllers these days than consoles because most of the consoles it's just a sticker anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also just so obnoxious to get them.
Right.
Because of the increase of scalpers and
Well,
I mean, honestly, to this point, like whenever the next generation of consoles comes around, I say this now, and you guys can call me out on it when I inevitably change my mind, but when the PS6 is released and the Xbox Series Y or whatever they're gonna call the next one.
no.
I think
no,
I'm
they're
good.
gonna go back to it'll be the Xbox 720. They'll flip
Whatever
the
it
name again.
is. I think I'm good waiting. I don't need a new console on day one because I feel like I'm fine. I have so much to play.
I find it difficult to believe you'll resist.
Yeah, I know you do.
But logically, I mean, we have been proven fools by being early adopters of PS5 and Xbox Series consoles.
Unless
Right.
they came out with like a ripping good lineup of launch day titles.
Or if they did special edition consoles at launch, let me pick one.
Sure.
Do that, guys.
Oh,
Like, do that, please.
well,
Anyway,
the Series X did. Remember the Project Scorpio that literally just had, or the Day One edition Xbox where they just put the
Yeah.
lettering on the controller and that was it.
and plus you got an achievement. Like you got a.
Yep, still have that achievement. Love it.
I do too. Okay, well, that's what we thought about this topic. Let's go to the community. Starting over on Facebook, Bill Gardner said, I love them, and at a time I'd buy them if it was for something I really liked. I purchased every Gears console, but now I can't afford to just blow that kind of money anymore with a horde of kids and a 50% increase on mortgage with the new house. It'll be a while before I have extra money again. I hear that, man.
I hope those kids are worth it.
Sell them.
Trade them in for a Gears console. Tim Earlywine, I'll definitely be attempting to get the controller, but the asking price on the PS5 Pro is not worth the enhancements ammo. So he's talking about the Pro specifically.
I
He's
completely agree. I think the price is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's guaranteed to sell out. Every piece of tech is
Mhm.
these days, but I am very curious to see what the tail on this thing is, because at least from the regular consumers, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of interest. Especially like $500 is already a lot of money in our current state here in America. Let alone if you're in Australia, it's like $1,200 or like $1,000 for a PS5 Pro.
I can't even
Well, I mean,
imagine what it's
it's-
going to be in Japan.
Right? It's
Like,
unbelievable.
We just
Oh,
raised the
it's-
price on the PS4 on the PS5 regular.
It's insane, dude. Oh my god.
I mean, it's almost like the console market is pretty much selling PCs at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
see,
you're just making it look more attractive.
with the popcorn bucket wars going on, I'm surprised the
God.
consoles haven't done the same thing.
What, popcorn buckets?
Well, no, just
Console?
like this week we're coming out with a new variant of our console. Look at
Oh,
it.
Yeah. But there's something different between spending $20 on a popcorn bucket and $500 on a console.
Yeah, but some people will still buy them, or at least,
So-
but with the PS5, you can change the wings on the thing. I'm surprised that they haven't been cranking out shells for that thing left and right.
Why would they when they could make you buy a whole new console instead?
Exactly.
Oh, so
CB, you want to take the next
Yep.
comment?
Stuart Bannerman, I'd love to be sent one, but I'm certainly not going to. Oh, I'll buy one of those special edition consoles, as I feel they instantly date themselves.
That's an interesting thing. Like, what I'll do instead of buying a console is I'll just go pay the $3 to have like whatever banner on the UI of the game. You know what I mean? Where like you can have like the background image being whatever game I happen to be playing currently. Or I feel like on the Xbox it used to just be a standard. Like if you had the game, you could just pick it and put it there.
Or you had to achieve a certain achievement to unlock those, like with the avatars.
Oh yeah, dude, the avatar rewards are so cool.
I kind of miss the avatars, man. I fired up my 360, and I still have like from Monkey Island, the giant Q-tip. Like there was a thing in the Monkey Island games where you took a giant Q-tip and stuck it in the monkey's ear.
You know, if you just go to the achievement page, your avatar's there, right?
Yeah, but I don't see it when I play my game.
Then just go to the achievement.
You don't see him
page.
take it and like shake it at me like he's waving a sword.
I think my avatar's still rocking his Sam Fisher outfit all these years later.
I believe it. Oh, you know what? I think I had changed mine. I changed mine to a sword that looked very much like the sword from Princess Bride, like a piratey type of sword.
Oh man, it's inconceivable.
Kyle Boggs says, the PS1 is still my favorite console, made and holds a special place in my heart, so I'd love to get one of these. But I'm not trudging through the resale market for it, nor do I need a PS Pro. I do own an Uncharted 4 PS Pro and a few themed 3DS consoles, but not usually my cup of tea. I forgot the Uncharted one.
Yeah.
Remember that? Sure. Zach?
Sean Coates writes, while I am, of course, a game collector in every sense of the term, I collect consoles with the intention of hooking them up and playing them and not for display. So no, I don't own any special edition branded consoles, and I'm not actively pursuing any to collect. That said, I've always thought the Sega Sports branded Dreamcast looked pretty slick. Its all-black aesthetic aligns nicely with the other default black Sega consoles.
Forgot I have that one, too.
Well,
this is CB's version of name dropping.
I was going to say, I'm sure you could get Sean's address. You want to hook him up?
Yeah.
Ooh, no, because that one actually does look really nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean. It's mine.
CB?
All right. Ethan McBee. I usually hold off for a few years on the newest console, so by the time I get one, there are plenty of special editions. I have the Final Fantasy 15 PS4, beautiful, and the Dragon Quest Builders Vita, Japanese edition. I play both of them, and I would assume that if I ever wanted to sell them for a little more than a used standard edition, yeah, dude, I will buy them both.
There you go, Ethan. Hit up CB.
Yeah, if you need a little extra scratch in your life.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Over on Discord, Thomas Beck says, I see the value of it. It looks cool, but I don't think I would replace my working console with a vanity one. A controller is a different thing, but a whole console goes a bit far for me. Pretty much sums up exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah. I would concur. I got, there was so much social pressure to get that Spider-Man. I had no choice, okay?
Yeah, I do feel it was like, Zach, look, it's right there.
There was a whole
it was
buy it.
It's a real hard sell.
There's a whole convention egging me on. Is it me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Tim Pollin writes in, for a franchise you love, go for it. I had the Uncharted PS4 console and I wish I hadn't sold it. That baby blue is gorgeous. Could COVID made us all do dumb things? Yeah. Well,
but somebody earlier made a comment about how they look outdated right away, right? Like, if you're not playing Uncharted anymore, it seems kind of like, oh, it looks cool, but it's not the newest thing. You know what I mean?
I disagree with that assessment.
You do?
I do.
Yeah, I don't think it dates it. I don't think it dates them because it's something that's in that universe.
Right. It just means that, hopefully you don't stop loving Uncharted just because you're playing a different game now.
Yeah.
How bad would that be if it was like a launch with like our new Uncharted game comes with this, and then you buy the console and everything, and it turns out it's just terrible.
Like the game is bad.
Yeah, they're just I got the stupid console to remind me of this terrible game.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened, right? I'm sure there's somebody out there who like really loves God of War, couldn't wait for the new one, and then it was like too far removed from the older ones or whatever. It's like, this sucks, and now they're stuck with it. This is constant reminder of the pain.
Yeah. Let's see here. Tim Thane writes in, I have the Zelda-themed Nintendo new 2DS XL, and it's a beauty. But it was my first and only DS. I got into the system late. If it's your first time buying the console, it's one thing, but I would never rebuy a console just because of a theme or a special edition.
Now I feel real bad for making fun of that Zelda 2DS.
Isn't that the one with that like super vibrant green too?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's
Well,
like
you know, I know, but like I just like literally just popped into my head, and I'm like, it almost feels like that green was originally designed for like a different console, and they were like, well, we got a few thousand of these laying around, slap
Man,
it on.
It's almost like you were listening to me.
Well, I know, but it sometimes my brain catches up. But
Jay Henry says, in today's idea of special edition consoles, not worth $700 for a PS5 Pro. The classic skin is nice, but they're really just trying to justify a small pixelation difference by wrapping it in a PS1 decal. It's a little more than a decal, isn't it?
Yeah, but I understand the sentiment.
Right, yeah, totally.
It's a different dye job,
Sure.
right? I don't know.
the wings
one
aren't
more.
as
Yeah.
big.
And then Drew Ross says, I've only ever bought one special edition console. That was when I upgraded from the Xbox 360 to the next gen, and that was the Xbox One S Battlefield 1 special edition console. Nice looking console and controller, plus a great multiplayer shooter in Battlefield 1. I did not know they did a Battlefield 1 Xbox.
I did not remember that either.
Do you remember there was a company like Game Armor where you could actually buy a shell to put over your 360?
I just remember stickers. Like, I don't remember an
Oh.
armor.
I know Nate and I both had one at one point in time, but like with the Xbox having its overheating issues, they had these like special MLG branded like armor cases that you could put on your 360 to make them even thicker.
No.
But they would have things like one of them like it had a claymore on the side.
Wouldn't that be a heat issue?
Yeah,
if you're, like,
that's
wrapping
why
it?
that company went defunct making those, because
Yeah,
they're like, let's make
yeah.
your 360 even hotter.
Exactly. How many red rings can we get this thing to do?
Did the,
All right. That is it for the topic. Next week is going to be the first of the month. We'll officially be in the month of October. We're going to go back to community questions. So get those questions ready. We would love to hear from you guys. It's one of our favorite episodes to do is just answering video game related questions from you. And you know what? We got a phone number you guys can call too. We haven't had any voicemails in a long time. If you'd like to hear your voicemail read or played on the show, you can call us at area code 347-746-2278, or a bit easier way to remember it, 3477-GO-CAST. Again, that's 3477-GO-CAST. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks for listening. This episode was produced by Kevin Honigford, hopefully. And all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website, again, is stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, do you have any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
randomly, my Amazon Prime's about to run out, so see what was on there to watch. And I watched The Tender Bar, starring a Ty Sheridan and Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
This is a very touching nice little movie. It's about
Yeah?
about a kid growing up in kind of a hectic house and learning that he wants to be a writer. Just kind of a very sweet movie. It felt like a '90s movie, but it came out only a couple years ago.
Interesting.
And I thought that was really nice. A sort of slice of life movie. It even has like the narrated by your future self that like Stand By Me has.
Uh-huh.
So it just kind of felt like a throwback style of movie making. That was really
Or like The Wonder Years, or
sure.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just making this
Yeah,
analogy
you're just
fall
gonna-
apart for you.
You're just naming things, I guess. The Wonder Years is a long time ago, so I think the analogies work. Anyway,
I'm talking about like an older narrator narrating his past story.
yeah, of course. No, it's nice. Yeah, it's a cool narrative device.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tender Bar, great little movie on Amazon Prime.
Very cool. CB, how about you?
I watched a special that made me cry.
A special.
Yep. So for a long time, I've been a huge fan of Top Gear and the Grand Tour. TV show, Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond. So they, after 20 years, they've hung it up, and they had one last special on Amazon Prime. It was really good, man. Like it,
All right.
it hit hard because
People get older.
my dad got me into the show.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand, man. Well, thanks for sharing. I don't know how to follow that, man.
We'll say
Thanks
it's
for-
so
Yeah.
reaching
Sorry-
CB
sorry,
get
like-
emotional.
whew, got emotional there for a second. But
The only, emotion,
not-
the only emotion I'm used to from CB is outright anger.
yeah. But it's really worth the watch, man. It was surprisingly good. Yeah, it's Grand Tour 1 for the road.
All right.
Well, this is me wishing I had not gone last, because mine is going to seem so stupid and trivial at this point. But you guys are gonna make fun of me so much. I can feel it already. But I did something this weekend that I have made fun of people doing for the longest time, and
You played
that
MMO.
is no, it is me putting on the back of my phone one of these pop things.
Oh.
That I know I can see you laughing at me already.
No,
I've been
dude,
laughing at it.
I'm not gonna laugh at
I'm-
you.
Okay.
I am. I
Yeah.
have a pop socket, so I understand.
So I have made fun of people doing it. Like, there's no way that is a good thing whatsoever. It's stupid. You look silly holding it, like you're cradling your phone weird. I don't understand how I have not had one of these for all these years. This,
Dude,
like-
it's a game changer.
it's a game changer. Not only like when you're holding your phone, it feels like you're holding your phone more securely, but like the idea, and it took me a couple tries to realize that you can pull this thing out. It's got like a second shift to it, and then you just it stands your phone up. Like
Right.
I know everybody else on the planet is going, you're an idiot. These things have been around for like 15 years now or whatever. But I've been avoiding them like the plague because they were like, to me, like the
You just old
Crocs.
man yourself.
Yeah, they were a new fad, so you couldn't participate. I understand.
Yeah, and
I would not have ever gotten one if it wasn't bought for me to prove how useful they were. That it was actually pretty useful. So
Yeah, I didn't actually buy mine. I was down at in Nashville to see the Packer game, and I went to a Packers pep rally. And one of the things I got, like as a door prize, was a Packers themed, pop socket. So I was like, had a few beers. I didn't even remember that it was on my phone till the next morning when I woke up, and I'm like, what the hell is on my phone?
that's
He
awesome.
picks it up, it slides into his fingers, and he's like, what have I been missing?
Right.
I know. So yeah, if you were like me and totally old manned a pop socket, give it a shot. Like just seriously, like having the stand alone. Like if I want to watch a movie or something while I'm at a desk and
Yes.
I don't have to
yeah.
lay it, it's
By the
it's
way,
so
with that-
handy.
The fact that it comes out that second way, you can actually like torque your phone and torque it too. So when you're laying down, you can actually shift it to a different angle.
This
too.
one does. Oh, it does. I was like, this one doesn't do that, but it does. Oh my god, this is a life.
I'm like,
This is so cool.
I just advanced it even further for him.
Yeah. Everybody else on the planet is like, Scott, you're such an idiot. Like this is like the dumbest thing. But
I just love the fact
yeah.
that like in real time I can watch him. He's like, you can angle it.
Oh,
It does.
well, here's the thing: is you can't angle it on the on the
first
second one. On the second one, it doesn't do it, but you have to do it on the first one. They will actually
Yeah.
angle it. So
Yeah.
wow, I'm learning all kinds of things. This is crazy. I am such a dork, but at least I own it, guys. That's all I'm saying. I own it.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for us to get out of here. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are the Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.